Hello, hello, hello.
Good evening.
I should introduce everybody on screen, and people are saying, that's not Logan Grant. We know who Logan Grant is. No, this is not Logan Grant. In fact, this is, you could be his twin. No, you're not his twin.
Well,
But
that's
so many things going on here.
that's what a friend said. He saw Logan on your show, thought it was me at first glance.
I can totally understand why.
Okay.
I am welcoming all to the Ask a Traffic Cop After Dark show. And as per usual, I need to get some music going. And the music that we play is a little After Dark song that I put together. So some groovy tunes.
That's a good groove.
Oh, this is. Wait till you hear the lyrics. But this is the background. I just let it play. I've created some music for Logan, and I guess I need to create some music for you. And what we've been doing is allowing the audience to give us, well, inspiration. So if they've got words or themes, we can certainly make a song for them too. Brian Max, welcome to the show. First time on the Ask a Traffic Cop After Dark, but you've been on Ask a Traffic Cop many, many, many times.
Yes, I have, and I'm happy to be here and watching along. I'm gonna try and stay up on the comments and questions. We'll see how it goes.
Well, depending on what platform you're on, there's lots going on. I should tell you that today is King of the North. I talk about King of the North all the time. King of the North auctions are a thing that both Brian and I, regularly participate in. They're usually on Sunday nights, but because of the ice storm, they've messed with our lives and put it on tonight. So my attention is divided.
Yes, so I've got my other screen down here, and there are a couple of things that I'm looking at that will be ending very shortly, and I may purchase. We were talking about the microphone kit. It's the one I was looking at is basically selling for retail. So why would I do that?
I don't understand why people do it. It's a laser pecker. It's called the laser pecker 2. It's a laser engraver. I don't even know what it's worth, but it's worth more than what they're selling it for. There's some really wild things being sold today, and I'm probably not going to buy many of them because I'm going to be doing the show and talking to y'all. So I was bidding for a buddy of mine for some Power Beats Pro 2 headphones, and he said, bid up to $200. Well, wouldn't you know, I looked away and someone won them for $195. I just didn't. It was counting down, and I didn't look in time to throw the last bid on his behalf. I feel like a heel. I do.
That's how it goes. But it's an auction, so if you really want this stuff, you can always buy it somewhere else.
Yeah, and next week there'll be another one. I know.
That's right.
It's but it's tough. It's gambling. I admit that it's gambling. I enjoy it. I like to win. It is. I don't like to lose.
Last night, of course, I knew I was going to buy that one item, and I had all the time in the world, and I just kept extending it. It didn't matter what the price was. I totally was going to buy it.
Oh yeah,
and I was just torturing.
You just want to ruin someone's day.
And I totally did that. It's been done to me as well. So, it's the energy does come back into the universe.
It's a cycle of misery. You get some, you give some. If you are watching and you've never seen this before and you don't know who I am, well, I have the flashing light above my head. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I do this in the morning time, 10 a.m. And then, of course, we're here on a nighttime for a little after hours. It's a little different. It's a little more chill. And a lot more fun, I think, because I bring my friends on, like Logan, who will be joining us shortly. He is on daddy duty, which is a wonderful thing, and he's very proud to be a dad. He's a dad a couple times over, but he's a busy guy with babies in the house, and I totally get it.
I totally understand that. That's how it goes. I did my my daddy duty, and mine's grown, educated, employed. And apparently has a girlfriend now, which is why I never hear from him.
Well, he's busy. His time is occupied.
That's right.
Berkey, a $700 water filter. I'm going to spend $150 on. Look, let's see if I get outbid. If you're watching, if you are on the auction competing against me, let me win. Stop bidding up. I'm bidding on a short throw $4,000 projector too. We'll see how much.
Of course you are. of course you are.
Because I need a short throw projector in my
I
life. Doesn't
I
everybody
know
need
you
a short
need
throw?
that. Yeah,
Now, what I'm
no.
really here to do is answer traffic and police questions and talk about different stuff and things. Now, what people may not know if they don't know you is that you are a car guy through and through. You're a professional race car driver. You've taught racing. You have done so much, as well as you're an automotive journalist. You're a radio host. What is it? What have we left off of your resume?
Yeah, quite a lot. I haven't had a resume in 20 years, so I forget. But yeah, I started racing cars when I was a kid, and have been teaching race driving and performance driving for a really, really long time. At this point, I can say I've honestly forgotten more about racing than most people will ever know, and in some ways, that's kind of true. I'm on my third phase of motor racing now as a team owner of a professional sports car racing team, and of course, we run our lovely green and gold Mercedes AMGs in IMSA.
They are pretty. They are really pretty.
They sure are. And you wouldn't fit. Once again,
you told me get into the car when we were at Canadian Tire. I can't call. I want to call it Mosport. Like
well, that's the original name, and the big track where we were racing is they call it the Mosport Grand Prix circuit, but it's Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
It messes with me still. And when I was there, you said, hop in. I'm like, nah. It does. That does not look like it's going to be comfortable for me at all whatsoever. So I took a pass.
Yeah, that was wise. I've driven it a bunch, and it's pretty tight in there.
I got some questions here and some people to acknowledge. So I got Toronto Stu. I just saw you there. Ox says this must be an April Fool's joke, and Chase says shit. It's the cops. Ox says hi guys. What is this? Matthew Hamilton 72 says what happens if you get pulled over without safety your car? How do you have a license plate on a car without a safety? What do you mean?
Exactly. That there are more problems than just not having a safety.
Oh yeah, we've left something out if we're talking about simply not having a safety. So if you pull over a vehicle that is unsafe for the road, unfit for the road, you're getting charged for drive unsafe motor vehicle. And if you have plates, they're being seized. But if you have plates, you're likely driving with the plates from another vehicle. So it's another charge of drive vehicle or plates. What is it? Plates not. Oh come on.
Attached.
It's well, the plates
or
not
no,
for
no.
that vehicle, or
right.
My wording will come to me, and I'm multitasking here. My glasses are unusually dirty, and they're bothering me, so I'm now cleaning them, and of course, I'm having difficulty multitasking on so many fronts. Oh, that ended.
Well, you lost another auction.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The auctions are closing like right now, but that's okay. It just means I'll spend less money if I lose them.
Which is that is not a bad thing, but I'll tell you, my page is like there's no rhyme nor reason to the things I'm looking at purchasing. I've got racing simulator wheels.
That you may have a purpose, or that someone might benefit them. I bought. Oh, by the way, I talk about this all the time. I am absolutely and completely addicted to these.
Yes.
I bought 10 boxes of this last night at auction.
Oh, I desperately need
2-year supply.
Yes,
because it was I'm pretty sure I got 10 packs of it. So I'm all in for lens wipes for a while. I use them to clean my laser cutter. I use them for everything. They're really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm shooting episodes, I've got 3 lenses to worry about, and that's always a thing, and my glasses are filthy right now, so I could use those.
See, and I can't do it. I start looking up, and I'm like, I see things floating. It's not good.
It is not good. And
so
especially.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, especially for me, because the whole act of driving is primarily visual, and when my glasses are filthy, I can't stand it. And the funny thing is, I really don't need glasses. They're just they assist a little bit with this distance, and they assist a little bit with reading, but I actually don't need them at all. But because I'm so visual, I want glasses.
Perfection. Yes. So I was told I don't need glasses except for reading, which is something I developed in the last, I guess, 5 years when I came off the road and started staring at a computer screen all day as a media relations officer, that
Mhm.
that drove me into needing reading glasses in a hurry, and it wasn't a good thing. So I got reading glasses, and then when I was there was just a little bit of sharpness that I could benefit from having a touch up on the like. I don't need them to drive for distance. In
Mhm.
fact, if I'm watching TV, I take my glasses off because
Mhm.
these are progressives. If I look through the bottom, it's for reading, and it's really a trip when you're lying back on the couch and everything's blurry. I don't like that.
Yes.
So
Yes. No,
the
I'm
long
with you.
story is clean glasses for the win, clean lenses for the shoot, and it's all good. I don't think I really finished off other than don't drive without a safety on your car because bad things will happen. You're going to get charged. That's the ultimate thing. You're going to get charged. You're going to get towing your car. Make sure you have
Yeah.
a safety certificate. That's the big thing. Um, okay, sorry. Divided attention for a moment. Oh, things are coming to a close. An UGG large unbranded. I don't know. This is UGG braid half zip. I don't need that. Okay. The King of the North. Yes, the best auction in Ontario. That's what Ox has to say. And Chase
Yes.
wants to know if we pull over trucks for or cars with too bright LED headlights. And yeah, police do enforce headlights. They'll probably think you're driving with your high beams on. I don't think everyone understands that high beams need to be, or headlight assemblies in general can be focused and directed, and they have to be directed properly for you to not be blinding everybody that you're driving into.
Yes, and for me, I spot those cars that have had front end repairs, and someone hasn't bothered to align the new headlamps a mile away. It's so easy to spot.
I'm convinced that PDIs, that manufacturers or dealerships aren't even doing it now because there's so many that are coming out of the dealerships, brand new cars that are just blinding light. One, because the LEDs are super bright. And
Yeah.
for folks who missed the fact that Brian is a automobile journalist, so you review cars, you see everything. Do you see that a lot?
Uh, Bright headlamps.
Bright
Is
headlamps,
oh,
yes.
for sure. And um, the vehicle I was testing last week was a Mercedes AMG, and
Yeah.
it had, I can't imagine what those headlamps cost to replace, but they were incredibly sophisticated. And when I'm driving in the countryside at night, I could see everything clearly, and that's as advanced as you're going to get in North America. In other parts of the world, they have more advanced headlamps that are even better, but they're all fairly bright. And then, of course, if you're driving a car and you're facing oncoming traffic, and that the traffic might be a pickup truck, a modern
Hmm.
pickup truck with modern headlamps, they're incredibly bright.
Good for the
And
driver, not so much for everybody else.
yes, exactly. And they all conform to the federal laws and all of that. But yeah, they're incredibly bright. But to be fair, I think the bigger issue is most people, um, where I drive in the Greater Toronto area, don't understand what that little blue headlamp light is on the dashboard.
Oh, and let's tell everybody what that is.
That means your high beams are on, and you're
Ooh,
annoying. You're annoying everyone that is coming towards you.
that is it's funny. There are many features that people don't realize are there for your benefit.
Here,
And by the way,
here's
I was
here's
told that I was a little quiet. I told my microphone was a little low, so I've adjusted
mm,
it. Please let me know if the microphone is better now. I've tried to balance the audio a little bit. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
so I've got a long list of things, and I think I'm going to do an episode on this. But it's a long list of dumb things that drivers do, and another one is not understanding what the recirculating air switch is. And when you see people driving around, especially at this time of year where it's spring and temperature changes, and we've got humidity and everything else, they're driving around with the interior windows completely fogged because they've pressed the recirculating air button and aren't getting any fresh air in the cabin.
And they're probably not running the air conditioning unit, which would then take moisture out. Ooh,
Yes.
I heard something. We have a Logan Grant who's joining us.
Oh, no kidding.
It's true. Let's see here. We go. What happens when we hit the what? How does that work? Hang on a
Well, that
second.
was fast.
Where
I've been
did the other
I've been
guy go?
usurped. I've been
Hang on.
usurped.
Oh, there
I'm
we
a
go.
little
Apparently
early,
there's a size thing here.
Oh, look at that.
Maybe I do it like this, and then I have to lean over. What do we do it like? No, I like the first way better. Okay, this is interesting. No, this is not good. Here, was it this way? No.
Oh, I don't want to be center stage.
I think we're
Backstage
going to leave it
is
like
fine.
this for a time.
That kind of works.
Yeah. Ooh, no, I don't want to scale myself. Ooh, this is very trippy. All the buttons and there we go. Hey guys. Hey Logan, how's it going?
Hey.
Hola.
Oh, trying to get the perfect balance here before you drop off the screen. How is Daddy Duty? We were talking about you.
Lots of duty in the daddy
I
part
bet.
tonight. So, yeah. I'm happy to be here and not dealing with that anymore.
Well, Logan Grant from Brooks, Alberta, a PO sergeant, does the municipal enforcement thing, which is really traffic detail in Alberta, in your city, which is cool. I just want to acknowledge Chris Davidson, who says, hello, I'm new here, and he wants to know if he can ask a question. He's from Milton, Ontario, and of course, yes, you can ask questions. That's what we're here for. Of course, we're also just chilling out and talking about stuff. A lot of what we've been talking about was the fact that both Brian and I are bidding on auction stuff. We are shopping while we're doing this live stream.
Yeah, so if you see me looking down, I've got my laptop here, and there's a couple of things I'd like to purchase. There's one coming up in 6 minutes.
And that Berkey water system, which is going for $320 now. And I'm like, I'm walking away. It's $500 or $600, but it's still a great deal.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it because I bought one already and I have not used it. So
we're just the Berkey is the one to get.
It's like you can take swamp water and purify it.
Yes.
Oh, yum
swamp. Well, the fact is, it's clean after you do it with that. So there's a thing. If you're watching on TikTok, please smash the likes and ask your questions and share the live, because that is a thing that allows us to be seen by others, to bring others to the party, and we like that. We like that. My wife says it's not as clear as it could be. My audio is suboptimal, so I've tried to boost it a bit. Let me know if it's better. I think the issue is when I'm alone, I can be lower, and when I have others in the room, I have to be louder to not get stepped over by the digital environment from those that are outside of the studio. So I am trying to make it work, and I need the feedback to know if it is in fact better.
Sound good on my end.
Well, it's because your high quality headphone. I don't know what it is. I think it's the final mix when it goes up. But anyway, we'll make it work. We'll figure out the magic. We'll write it down so we can replicate it. Let's see here. Toronto Stu asks a question. Says, "Can I buy a car for somebody else as a gift, or do I need a drive? Oh, sorry. Can I buy a car without a driver's license for a gift for someone else, or do I need a license to make the purchase?" That is a very good question. And I do have an answer for it. Logan, in Brooks, Alberta, or Alberta proper, do you need to have a license to buy a vehicle?
No. And it's kind of frustrating out here because we have a lot of people with learner's permits and no driver's licenses who will go and register and insure a vehicle without a driver's license. So you can definitely do it here, unfortunately.
Registering it should not be possible. That's not true. You can. So in Ontario, you can get a registration, but you can't. And you're the owner, but you can't drive it.
Yeah,
so you get a RIN number.
Yeah, exactly. It's two separate things. I mean, there's the transaction,
and then we went on
and the purchase, and then the registration. What did you buy?
No, I saw you look away, but there was some lag on the connection, so I thought you were shopping, just staring off into the side, but it was a lag. You dropped for a second.
No, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm actually on my phone. I'm not on any Wi-Fi. It's a there's the financial transaction between the seller and the buyer, but then there's the licensing, there's registration, licensing, insurance, all of that, which has to happen separately, of course.
So Toronto Stu, the answer is you can in fact buy someone a gift. You'd be very generous if you do that, but you don't have to. You don't have to license it and insure it. That's something they have to do. If you want to be really kind, you could license it, insure it, and then put them on the insurance. But that's, I think, too kind. Buying them a car.
While you're buying other people's cars, I'd like a nice new Ferrari or something.
A Ferrari.
If you're handing them out.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't think Brian would be buying a Ferrari if he was asking someone to spend money. Is that your first pick, Brian?
It is not, and I've got a long love affair with Ferraris, but more, and it's more due to my age and everything else. But the modern Ferraris, they're amazing to drive and all that. They're just, it's not for me. I still, for road cars, and it comes back to the race cars. Our race cars have automated gearboxes, and that's how all professional race cars are now, and at least in the sports car world, and certainly in NASCAR and IndyCar and Formula One. So, my view is, for somebody who loves cars and loves to drive, I want to drive a manual, and that's what I own. And for a high performance car that with an automated gearbox, there's one layer of the driving experience that's no longer part of it.
Gone awry.
Oh. Okay, I should
when you did that.
Yeah, sorry, I talk with my hands. I must be Italian.
It might be.
I actually pulled over a 2024 Corvette today, Stingray R. And let me tell you, up close, that thing was nice. I did pull him over for speeding, mind you, but beautiful car.
Yes.
It was in like a ruby red color. I mean, I spent more time looking in the car than I did looking at him while I was talking to him.
But you still gave him a ticket.
I gave him a warning, but I wasted a lot of his time. Let's put it that way.
Oh, that's
admiring his car.
Yeah, no, the time is more expensive than the ticket as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so we chatted a little bit longer than I would normally have.
Mm-hmm.
So the warning was good, but the car was beautiful, and he wasn't excessively speeding, but even still, I was definitely admiring the nice. And he was saying, so every time he washes his car, you're obviously familiar with the new Corvettes, the way the back window is and the rear end tapers to the back window. He says when he washes it, he's constantly trying to get the pool of water out from the back window because it just pulls to the back.
So that's why he was speeding. He's trying to get the water off the back.
Well, that's what I said. So every time he goes to a car wash, he has to floor it to get the front end to go up so it all flies out.
Understood. I mean,
I spent a week with one in California, and that's my job. So, lovely car, incredible car, great value as well. I mean, it outperforms everything for the same price point, and
for the value too, right? Like, yes, I'm sure his was because it was the Stingray R. It was probably 150, maybe 130.
Still a reasonable price for that piece of technology.
But for what you're getting,
yes,
I mean, the Acura NSX was a prime example of that car. Mm-hmm. When it first came out, it was reasonably priced for what you got. And I almost think it's an underrated car. The new NSX, even the Audi R8 when it was a V10, like it was still a sub $100,000 car. I mean, you got a lot for that.
Specifically manufactured for the purpose of showing off and putting everything they can and leading the technology troop. Yeah. Not because they make money on that car. I don't think they make money on those cars. I think that they
do. They have to make a business case. Yeah. So this is where my industry expertise comes in. There are I can tell you exactly where the brand building exercises are with product, but with all the cars that we've just mentioned, they all have to make money.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think the NSX did, the new one. I could be wrong. But I don't feel like it did. But people were people went into it very underwhelmed. And then a lot of the videos I've watched where they've test driven them, they were like, wow, this is actually better than we thought it would be.
It was my first experience of understanding how electric motors and torque vectoring could be optimized in a performance situation. Yeah. And now we're now seeing some EVs that are taking advantage of that. Like the BMW electrics are incredibly good because they've got a great dynamics engineering team, and they can now figure out how to optimize controlling torque as well as regenerative braking with those electric motors. And right now I'd say the BMWs are some of the finest all around EVs from a driving satisfaction standpoint. But that new NSX, as soon as I drove it, I'm like, oh, this is much more special than
this is something.
Yeah, it really is.
I was just talking about torque vectoring with my 8-year-old this morning over breakfast, and
Odd conversation. So let me tell you about torque vectoring while you're eating your Fruit Loops.
I got to tell you, I love that you know this stuff because you're my go-to source. And for anyone who's watching, you should go check out Brian's channel at Brian Max, where you can
I'm gonna
check
follow
out
you actually
all
right now.
sorts of stuff when it comes to the new cars that are out there. And I watch.
You
all
should
your
put
stuff.
do you have Instagram?
Yes.
I was gonna say if you had Instagram, you should put the
Everything.
thing at the bottom.
It's all my name. It's all Brian Max. Every platform.
Well, at the same time, I gotta put it on the screen now. Oh, and I got Nicholas Rizzi in the room, and Brandon came in. Brandon, I tried to press it. It worked. Good morning, Sean and Logan. It's 2 a.m. in the UK time. Hope you had an amazing day. Sean, sorry I missed yesterday. I was at Silverstone for track day.
Oh God.
Oh, you know what?
Jealous.
That's one of the circuits, one of the big circuits around the world that I haven't driven, and I'd love to.
Really?
My in-laws are from England, and they've been to the track before, and I'm a huge F1 connoisseur. And as much as I'm not a fan of some of the British drivers, just to go there would be incredible. And just to see the Cotswolds, to see where all the major F1 teams,
Sorry,
the Cotswolds,
it's called
the Cotswolds. It's
I
where
read something else.
Oh, it's not the Cotswolds, it's the Cotswolds. So we clear that up.
Cots.
And it's where most of the major Formula One teams are, and their facilities, just alone to go see, are incredible. The McLaren facility is beautiful, absolutely stunning.
Just to go off topic for a second, Brian, there's an LG 27-inch UHD 4K.
Yeah,
that's
I'm just about to
Is that
click
the one you're watching.
Yeah. I'm just about to click the bid, so
24
don't bid on
seconds
that.
to go. Punish somebody.
Yeah. I'm giving it another 10 seconds here before I do it. Oh no, somebody beat me to it. I've still got some latitude, so. I'm going higher than this on that one, so
very good.
I'm keeping an eye.
Like I said, you turn away, you'll lose it all, and you just can't have that.
Yeah, I lost a few things.
I've lost a few things too, and
yes.
But in doing so, saving money. Honda Mig says, "Hey Sean, great to see you on." I kind of tell you, I'm really enjoying the After Dark biz. It is nice to hang out and chill out in a different environment with my friends and share that with you guys. So that's a thing.
So just to quickly go back to the car thing, Mac, I followed you, and the first car I seen was the Grenadier, and I've got questions.
Ask away.
I am in love with that
let's
truck.
pause on Grenadier because I want to talk about this. But my wife reminded me that we've not been answering questions, and there's a whole bunch here. And
we can come back to the Grenadier. It's also a favorite subject of Sean's.
Yes.
So let's we can come back to that.
We'll come right back here. So Honda Mig asks, do you have a dream car or motorcycle? That's a pretty easy one. I've always liked the Hummer H1, which is a weird pick.
The wagon.
By no means a great vehicle, nor is it one that you can get parts for easily. But I really like it. And
but the Duramax. He's got to be very specific in your.
Yes.
69 Dodge Charger for me. 69 Dodge Charger RT. If I had all the money, it'd be the Daytona. But the RT, even in like a nice brown, like they had like a brownish gold color at the time, beautiful color, or even like candy apple, which is why I like the new Dodge Charger. The looks of the new Dodge Charger.
But the sound. Yes. We talked about this in the auto show with its speaker out the back that makes it sound like a muscle car when it's an electric vehicle.
I know. Well, Stellantis just announced they're bringing they're bringing back the Hemis. So
yes,
really,
and yes, and
they better put one in that.
They are. I mean, I read all of the industry news as well as the gossip, and I don't know specifically, but there's enough information out there that they are clearly putting internal combustion engines in these new Chargers. It's going to happen.
That look though is incredible.
Yes,
and it looks like the 69, and it's just
and they've done a great job. I have several friends who are on the design team at Stellantis, and they do an excellent job.
I'm a big Dodge guy, Mopar guy, so most of my favorite cars are going to be Dodges.
Okay, I love all the old cars though, and they're all big enough for me to fit into mostly. During that era, there were big cars for big guys. I wouldn't mind a DeLorean, which is a fat guy car, but not a good car. I like it. A buddy of mine's got one.
You may as well just drive a Pepsi can.
Yeah.
But wait, so
I just
you
like
want
it
the
'cause of
Hummer?
Back to the Future.
You want the Hummer? I like the Charger. Max, what do you got? If you could have one.
It's actually on my channel. I've had the good fortune to be able to drive one. It is an early 90s Porsche 911 that is
Ooh.
restored and reimagined by a company called Singer.
Yes.
And it is singularly the finest car I have driven. I will never forget the experience, and would consider maybe selling a kidney for one, or even murder.
Ooh.
It's
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
It's,
Everyone has a price.
Yep.
Everyone has a price.
That's right. It is that good of a car.
I watch it on Top Gear, and
Mhm.
same thing. You feel the car when you're driving it. Like
It's modern brakes, tires, suspension in a platform, with the dimensions of something that's 30 years old, but it's got double the horsepower that it originally did, more braking capacity, more grip, all of that, better handling, and it's 600 pounds lighter than the original car. So it's a completely different driving experience, but still captures the essence of what a 911 should be.
amazing. That's
Okay,
a good pick.
next question, because we got to keep it going. Hey there, Sean. If I see a reckless driver on the road, do I call 911 or is there a specific number? And the answer is, if that reckless driver is putting others at risk, if you think they're going to harm someone based on that driving, or maybe they're impaired by alcohol or drugs, then absolutely it's a 911 call. If it's stuff that just isn't right, and you could call an emergency number, but the reality is they're not going to send someone to go find a car that's being, 10 kilometers over the speed limit, which is also dangerous, but everyone seems to be doing it. If it's truly reckless and you feel that it's a risk to the public safety, then yeah, it's 911. Would you agree in Alberta?
Yeah. I mean, 911, the biggest thing too is by the time people decide to make the complaint, especially out here, Highway 1 is, it's the biggest highway across Canada, and people call it in like 20, 30 minutes after the fact.
That is not
And then
helpful.
it's always GOA, gone on arrival. So get a plate. If you can get a plate, worst case, we can get a statement and charge the RO if it's significant enough. And don't
the thing is,
try and catch up to the vehicle and maintain visual of it, because
No,
now
don't chase
you
anybody.
will
Call
likely
us.
be driving recklessly.
Yeah, and the fact is, one person driving recklessly is bad. Two of them, very bad. So don't do that. We've got another question that came in that is for some reason not responding. Where did it go?
I saw it on YouTube.
Here it is. I'm getting these sent to me in addition. I see them too. My wife is posting them to my chat, my personal chat. I'm cutting, pasting them, and putting them in here so everyone can see them. What were the steps to becoming a police officer? I'm from Ottawa and would like to pursue a career from Ottawa. Well, we can talk about that. Becoming a police officer is fairly simple. You have to meet the standards. You have to get tested and get a certificate in Ontario, and then you can apply. And once you apply, you go through a process of background interviews and background tests and all that jazz. Not much has changed. What I would suggest doing is going to the website of the police service that you want to apply for and looking at what their particular requirements are. And if you want to come to Toronto, then absolutely go check that out too. Raj46 says, maybe that was before. He said my audio is low, but I was told it was better now. So hopefully that's the case.
If you don't mind, I just want to chime in on the police officer thing. The bare minimum is always grade 12 or equivalent, 18 years of age. And depending on the police service or agency, you have to have Canadian citizenship and or permanent residency. The RCMP changed that a couple of years ago. And the other thing too is, depending on the province you're in, especially Ontario, there's a lot of pre-exams you have to do before you can even apply. Ontario used to have the PADI, and then they've since changed it. Now it's more of a psych evaluation style testing. And then you have to have that first before you can apply. In Alberta, we have the APREP, which is a written test and a physical test in order to apply to any police service across the province. And most provinces have those pre-exams in place to even start applying. So definitely look at that. There's a lot of resources online to prep yourself for those exams, especially if you're not one to do studying and or tests in middle-aged times, right? So But yeah.
But also for fitness, it's less difficult as you get older. Now it's you don't compete against a 20-year-old for fitness to be on the same plane. You are at the standard that it's to be expected. So at 50, if I went into test, I have to do fewer push-ups, fewer sit-ups, fewer of everything, because I'm competing against my peers, not against kids that are being they still have brand new parts.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
But
I'm
feel
missing
free to reach out
those
to me.
brand new parts.
Oh, I would kill for some of those brand new parts to be installed, but sadly,
Yeah.
you got what you got. The warranty's up, and you use them till you lose them, and that's about it. If you've got questions, feel free to throw them into the chats, whatever platform you're on. But know that we're going a little slower and taking a little longer on all the answers because we're just chilling out. Let's see here. We got who's responsible for bail laws, federal or provincial government? I don't bail laws, like the criminal justice system is going to be based on criminal law, but the provincial courts deal with a lot of it, and how each province determines how they're going to deal with their accused will ultimately, I think, come down to a provincial decision.
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
Yeah, definitely. There's federal prosecutors. Like, it depends on the charges. Like, everything depends. It's a muddy water. That's what lawyers are for.
Yes.
M3K Kurutz. I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's good to see you too. I can't figure out how to pronounce your username. What are your thoughts on the Plymouth Prowler? That's from Radix Insta.
Funny thing about the Plymouth Prowler, it was actually co-designed or primarily designed by Foose. Chip Foose was the one who actually
had a hand in that.
Well, he came up with the preliminary design, and then of course, the design they wanted to, Stellantis or Chrysler at the time, ended up making some changes. But it was. Again, it was a rare car of its time, right? Like, it had the open front with the
fenders,
the fenders, and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, it was, and he originally designed it to have like a V8 in it.
Yes.
So what actually ended up coming to production was not what was intended to go to production. And if it had, I think that car would have stood out even more. But if you have one and you didn't get the little cart to carry with, you're not a Prowler fan. If anyone knows what I'm talking about.
What is that? What did you have to get? Did you get?
Yeah,
there's a trailer that matches the body shape, and it's an official thing. It's not an aftermarket thing. What I'm looking, they produced less than 12,000 Prowlers during the entire production run. Get
out of town.
Yeah,
pretty slick car though.
Yeah, it's unlike anything else, and at the time there was very courageous leadership at Chrysler that allowed that to happen, similar to when they produced the Viper.
Yeah.
Wow. I liked it, but I don't think I would fit in it even when it came out. I was still too big for that car, and the doors only opened up that little bitty much. Maybe if I crawled in through the roof, maybe.
Well, they were convertibles,
I had a friend who had
right?
one.
So
convertibles, that's what I'm saying. If I climbed in, maybe. What information does the Ministry of Transportation receive when someone gets a driver's license? When they get a driver's license? It's all your tombstone information. You're getting a driver's license. The MTO needs your name, date of birth, all your stuff, all your particulars, so they can identify you. If you're talking about what information does the MTO provide police when we pull you over, it's all that information. And then, of course, your entire driving history. And go ahead.
I recently renewed my driver's license.
Yes, you did.
And I should have hired somebody, because I live in Toronto. I should have hired one of those people that will wait in line for you, but I completely forgot about that. Nonetheless, I had great service once I got to the counter, and I was given the option to use my existing photo or take a new one. And
without an extra charge?
Yeah, it didn't matter either way. So this is the first time I'd experienced that. So I'm like, I just didn't bother. And not like my previous photo was any better than my look today, but I just left it. So I'll have at some point I'll have a 10-year-old photo on my driver's license.
Nicholas Rizzi says, and Nicholas, you must understand, is a funny guy. He actually does stand-up comedy. He says, if I watched this video on mute, I would swear I was watching a live video of two Santa Clauses talking about conspiracy. Man, I got to lay off the weed.
I love that.
I've been reading some of his, and amazing.
So speaking of conspiracies, we were talking earlier, Sean, about my favorite subject when it comes to motoring, which is mostly Tesla drivers,
Yes.
because they, as you put it, they're supervisors, not drivers.
Well, especially the ones who are using the
I
beta
agree.
software to get around.
And I don't believe any of us have agreed to participate in their beta test.
Their beta.
Mm-hmm.
It is terrifying, actually.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, the car is what the car is, and I'm going to test the Model 3 performance very soon, which has legitimate performance kit on it. It's like suspension brakes and other things, and it sounds legit. And it was brought to my attention by some of my viewers because, I drive Tesla so infrequently that I don't have a full picture. And a number of viewers said, well, if you're going to talk about how good this BMW is, you need to try the Model 3, the new Model 3 performance for 2025. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that. Now I'm concerned, if I'm going to be attacked driving in Midtown Toronto by people who think I'm,
In support of one way or the other.
In support of a guy who I'm never going to meet and, will never meet in my lifetime, who employs 140,000 people who make his cars. I don't understand all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
And as we were talking earlier, Sean, once you start drawing moral lines about, companies and brands and stuff, it never ends because if we want to look at the automotive industry, look at every single brand and you're going to find some moral line that you disagree with that's been crossed in that brand's history.
Well, like Ford, or let's look at German manufacturers.
Every car maker.
Sean.
There is nobody who doesn't have blood on their hands, and that's the problem. But what I find interesting is that, like, they just gave a guy 20 years for blowing up the dealership, I think in Vegas. But what's going to happen in Florida when people in Florida have guns and shoot back, and they have a stand your ground law? Like, this crap that people are pulling is I can't even say what I want to say, but I don't understand how they like, there was a guy who was confronted. I was going to try and download the video and share it on today's live, but the guy wrote put a swastika on the side of the guy's Tesla, and they caught him through Facebook, and they confronted him when they were waiting for the police, and the guy's like, I didn't do it, I used crayon, it wasn't a real thing. And it was amazing to listen to this guy, and then he finally said, I know I was wrong.
Well, this is the thing. So this again, we touched on this earlier today, Sean. If you're gonna do something, if you're gonna have the audacity to do something like that, own up to it. Like, have some fortitude, and say, yeah, I did that, and I'll deal with it. But that's the other thing. I live by the rule: never mess with another gentleman's car, because there are consequences. And I think what's going to happen this year is many people are going to learn that lesson.
Yep.
I look forward to watching the court of people screaming and the injustice of them being held accountable. It's like the guy who keeps on talking about the fact that I, as a former police officer, should know that there are better things than enforcement for people who break traffic laws. And like, well, we're the police. We don't build roads. We're the police. We issue tickets. We do the education thing. But then it's on you. It's your responsibility as a driver. You make your choices. And if you get a ticket, it's your fault. And it's the middle class you're punishing. It's all about the money. I'm like, you don't have to pay anything if you don't break the law. So anyway, I have issues with people who don't take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I just lost a knife set.
There is a
15-piece Cuisinart knife set. I'm not getting it.
No.
There is a good question here up in the corner. Sorry, Max.
No, go ahead.
It's what is the fine for using the cell phone in your hand that is not a first responder? That's in the side here. What do you got
in
there?
your hand that is not a first responder? Let's see where we got that one. I'm going to try and find it. So we're talking about if you're not a first responder?
Yeah.
How come I don't see this? Okay, but go ahead.
I have opinions, but I want to hear the answer first.
Okay.
So what's it in Ontario, Sean?
So in Ontario, if you're using your handheld communication device or a handheld entertainment device, or if you are looking at someone else's handheld entertainment or communication device being screen visible to driver, it is a $615 fine. It comes with 3 demerit points and a 3-day suspension on your first conviction, second and continuance at 7 days and 7 demerit points, I believe. And I think it should be more because people can't figure out how to get that out of their hands and stop using it. There are exemptions. If you're calling 911, you're permitted to use it. Otherwise, it must be mounted, and the only thing you can do is pick up or hang up a call while it's mounted. You can do that with a Bluetooth device too if it's in your ear. You can totally control it by your phone remote if you're using that connected device thing, CarPlay or Android Auto. What else is there? It generally spikes your insurance like crazy, but $615, you would think it's enough. And remember, this charge first came into play because they didn't want to be as heavy-handed as careless driving was, which is a $500, $400 ticket and 6 demerit points. They want it to be light, so they started at $125, I believe. And it's escalated because people are not getting the message.
Yeah,
it's killing people.
It really is. I mean, I was rear-ended several years ago by a young woman who was on her phone. I could see it coming. I told my passenger that we're going to get rear-ended. I could see it coming. There was it was downtown Toronto. There was nowhere I could go, and it just gets worse. And now there are hacks and mods and devices and whatever where people can puts whether they're using the existing screen that comes with the car or a secondary screen where they can watch YouTube or TikTok or whatever, and that's on top of the phone. But and none of this is good. There's no such thing as multitasking when it comes to driving. You're diverting your attention. There's just no such thing as multitasking. On the other hand, this is where my opinion comes in, and feel free to disagree. But if there's anyone qualified to use a phone while they're driving, it might be me.
and
actually
why?
Qualified, like a good enough driver to make it happen?
If I can, talk on the radio and do all sorts of other things and win races, if other human being this is Brian, the championship winning racing driver speaking, if other people are permitted, and I don't care who they are, if there are other people who are permitted to use their phone while they're driving, I have a greater skill set than anyone else does. And
there's no question.
This is where I feel slighted and marginalized.
But here, I will counter with one thing. While
Yes.
I totally believe and support you, and your skill set is phenomenal, they're all going in the same direction, except for the crashes, that may happen. There's no pedestrians, except for those running away from burning cars if they're rolled. But for the most part, that's where the issue is. When you're in an environment where everyone's doing the same thing, they're all skilled drivers, and you've got the radio back. You're training for it. The average person just shouldn't be doing it. And there are exemptions for police. There are exemptions for fire, parking, ambulance, like anyone in a police vehicle. But do they need to do it? The Toronto Police has a policy that if you don't have to do it, you pull over to the side of the road and you do it. Yeah. It's only for emergency situations or things that are related to police business. Otherwise, you can use your two-way radio, but you shouldn't be using your cell phone. And you certainly shouldn't be using it to order a pizza.
And I'll tell you, we can be some of the worst though. Like, thankfully, my PC is the only one I drive. So my phone is hooked up to it, and I'm always on Bluetooth. But I see other members driving around, and it's there. Who knows what they're doing? But man, I've seen so many collisions with police vehicles where the leading cause was whether it's the laptop or the phone. Like we're just as bad, and we are held accountable. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is, well, you're exempt, but it's like, but we're also held to a higher standard.
Sure.
And when we do cause a collision, we usually can sometimes not only be charged provincially, but then we have Police Services Act. We have all kinds of other stuff that can come in and really throw us under the bus. In Alberta, so in Alberta, it's a $300 ticket. So we're a little light still, and it's a big problem here, especially with a lot of our oil workers. And I kind of wish we were like you guys where we could do the seizures and everything else. But right now it is just a $300 fine, 3 points on conviction. But the big thing here that really affects people in Alberta is insurance. When they find out you have a distracted driving charge on your record, you're flagged as a high-risk driver, and they'll either cancel your insurance, or they will jack the rates up. We've had a few people in the media, and they've done news articles, and people want to go buy a brand new car. They can't, because an insurance company will not insure them, because that charge is on their record.
But if you have a car and they don't check it in between, so only when you're getting a new policy do they check it? Is
Exactly.
that the deal?
And I mean, so like if your insurance company pulls your abstract, it's up to them when they do it, whether it's a year or 2 years, and they find it, then yes, they can jack your rates up. But I had a guy just the other day. I was driving down one of our main roads. I was in the left lane. He was in the right lane. And thankfully, I'm paying attention to my surroundings, as we should be. And the guy just starts merging over into my lane. Thankfully, I'm in a PC, so I can just flip my lights on and stop him. And sure shit, he was texting. He was texting his boss. And he had no idea that he was coming over into my lane.
Is he apologetic?
Just stupid stuff. Oh, he owned it. And I gave him a ticket, but he owned it. The difference is now I can go in my notes and say, yes, this did happen, whatever. But I can also say that the driver was very omitting to it and everything else. And that sometimes can help them in the long run. So
Jake here has an amazing question, and we're going to get to it in 1 second. It's in relation to performance vehicles, and I think you're going to like this.
Okay.
But the just to acknowledge, Captain T, who says, me and my wife love your videos. And then can license plates in Ontario have dealership covers around it? Your favorite Ford or Mercury or whatever around the plate. That's the question. Can they have them in Alberta?
So the law is simply you cannot have an obstructed license plate. So it comes to discretion on the officer's part. If I can't read Alberta at the top because your license plate cover is so thick and a covering, that would be an obstruction. Even though the numbers and the letters are visible, the whole plate needs to be visible. And that's no different with full covers. Like at face value, a clear license plate cover is not necessarily illegal because it is not obstructing your plate. I can see your plate within 14 meters. That's all I need to do. But out here on county roads, they get eaten up pretty quick with dirt and rocks. So that cover can easily become an obstructed plate.
Oh,
so
yeah. There's all
the
sorts
tinted
of
ones,
and
big
glare, and the fact that very often they are polarized specifically to avoid the reading of cameras and so on. So, the deal is you shouldn't have it. And there are multiple jurisdictions that have the same color and the same style, but if you can't see what province it is or state, it's not the right place. It doesn't come back, and it causes a whole bunch of issues. So, yeah, the entire plate must be visible. And for us, it's $110. What's it for you?
162.
Oh, you actually beat us on one.
I'd like to render the aesthetic opinion here. Or not necessarily aesthetic, but the commercial thing. Why would you put or allow the dealership to put a dealership license plate frame on your car? You paid them.
Me? Yeah.
You don't see any branding on me ever, and it's because I'm not being paid to wear things, and I've got my own line of merch on my merch store, and that's about all you see on my channel. But
manuals.
So I'm sure I've got a sticker here. Indeed, I do. In my very popular line of Save the Manuals merch.
Oh, you're reversed, but yes, very cool stuff.
But I don't understand. I've never had dealer markings on any of my cars ever, and
your mic is going right.
Oh, sorry. I don't understand the whole idea. I mean, I understand why dealers do it, but I don't understand why people permit it.
Yeah,
you are advertising their business, and they're not paying you for it. They didn't give you a discount. I would like a $5,000 discount for your license plate frame, or take it off. And I've asked them not to put it on, and then they put it on anyway. And then I send it and say, take it back.
Yep.
And not accepting your car with that. Jen says hi. She's in the bail and parole and that jazz. Wants to know if you are a fellow law enforcement officer, Brian.
Right choice. Right choice. Yes, you. Yeah, right choice.
Well, we can talk about the career path of a racing driver, and that's not an easy one either.
That is the weirdest thing ever.
What happened?
Hang on a second. I have a light that is flashing, and I don't know the source of that light. Stand by. I'll be right back.
I'll tell you, though, I think I would rather be a race car driver and have gone through all the crap to get to that point. It's like I live vicariously through like Max Verstappen and like
It was really weird.
Dale Earnhardt and Jimmy Johnson, right? Like that to me, I've always wanted to be a go-kart driver and start, but then just, the resources out here aren't necessarily what they are like in other places. So, and it's expensive.
It is incredibly expensive. I mean, just for context, our race cars cost about $300,000 US each, and that pales in comparison to the operating costs.
Yeah, because you got race engineers, you got pit crews, you've got technicians, you got everything, right? Like,
yeah, 2 engineers, several mechanics, a truck driver, hospitality people, and then of course we have media and social media and all kinds of people hanging around. So for one of our big weekends, it can be 17 people per one car.
Yeah, crazy.
So like normal, the way I get to work.
Yeah, exactly.
My pit crew that I carry with me everywhere.
Well, we do have the best on our team. Our guys are great.
Well, you are a champion, so you must have a good crew.
You gotta have a crew. It's all the crew. Big pet peeve for me when drivers don't turn right or left and immediately drift out of the curb lane or corresponding lane and do drift. Oh, when they drift out of their lane, just not paying attention. Yeah.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Toronto Stu. Sorry, go ahead.
What is it to say that this last week, I've had the several occasions where I've been, so they're in another lane, whether I'm on the highway or somewhere else. They throw their turn signal on, they actually turn the wheel and then check their mirrors and realize that, oh, there's another car there. It is just incredible.
And it's only going to get worse because the amount of technology that they're putting in cars for safety features, people are relying on them, like blind spot monitoring, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're not always perfect. So people just go, oh, it's not going off, I'll just go over. And next thing you know,
yes, and they could have easily switched off the active blind spot. So the car that I'm in right now has an active blind spot system, so it will tug you back into the lane, not just warn you visually and audibly. It will actually keep you in the lane, but you can switch that feature off.
Yeah,
and if you don't know, you don't know.
And the people who rely on it, like automatic headlights, they just drive around with no lights on because the automation has taught them they don't have to be responsible. We have some terrible drivers that rely on technology. Yeah. A lot of them drive Teslas. Just saying. But it's an epidemic now. You get into someone else's car and you just start driving it, assuming it's like your car. So you one of two things: you rented, borrowed the car, or you're drunk. That's how I used to determine who to pull over very often. Oh, by the way, the reason lights were flashing, the light bulb above my key light was flashing, and then it burned out.
Oh,
but I wanted to make sure the house wasn't on fire. Just double check.
That's kind of important.
Just save the studio, Sean. Save the studio.
Sure. Chris Davidson says, I was involved in a collision. A guy ran a red light and T-boned me, and he admitted it to police, and was on the police report as well, doing 20 over the limit, but he was not charged because of his age. Is this allowed? And what was his age? Was he old or young? Obviously, that is a discretionary thing of the officer. Yeah. But that's not a thing. If they caused the collision, they should have been held responsible. No, they should have. Anyone involved in a collision who's responsible should be charged to protect the person who didn't cause the collision. Just saying. Would you do you do collision reports as well, or is it only enforcement?
Enforcement. We do assist at times with collisions and help some of the rookie members here determine sometimes the cause and or the appropriate charges to go with, because that's just just our bread and butter, right? So, but I have charged people for careless and stuff for like minors. So yeah,
I'm just laughing because I'm reading Rizzy's comment. Sorry.
Yeah, he's got some good takes tonight.
You guys look like Danny, Joey, and Jesse from Full House if Full House took place in the woods.
I'll go with it.
I think that's pretty good.
And the funny thing is, I have no interest in camping ever.
No, my
Not
idea
even
of roughing it is
glamping?
black and white TV.
Oh, I've done glamping. I've done glamping. That's as
That's
far as
still
I go.
camping.
Yeah.
I don't know. Air conditioning is a must. Honda MIGs has something that Tesla would. That Brian will appreciate because it's against Tesla. Tesla driver hit my car back in November and tried to tell me the car was fine. I have the whole thing on video. More than happy to send it to you for education purposes. Please do, Honda MIGs. $7,000 worth of damage on my car, a 2018 Type R.
Oh no, lovely car.
Beautiful car,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh,
But Tesla,
If you're into Hondas.
it wasn't. their
I
fault.
am. I won a U.S. national championship in a Honda
Oh
Civic.
wow.
Hondas can be good too.
I love my Hondas.
When they redesigned the Type R for this newer design, man, it looked good and it was quick.
Oh, it's excellent. It's
Yeah.
it is by far the best front wheel drive performance car ever by all metrics. The old Integra Type R might be some people's favorite, but it's from a different era. The new Type R is incredible, and I sure hope my friends at Honda will let me drive another one this summer. I'm sure they will.
On the track?
Maybe. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a great road car, and if I drive it on track, that's even more fun.
That's some of the nice things though about some of these newer cars that they drive like a high-end car, but you don't have to have the speed to feel driving am I making sense? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you don't
feel
have to
like
go
you
fast
drive-
in the Type R to feel like you're in control, like you have full control and you have that driving experience even at highway speeds or at city speeds, right?
Yep. The episode I dropped on Saturday was the Toyota GR86 special edition for 2025, and there's only one driving experience that comes close, and that's a Mazda MX-5. That GR86 is just a beautiful sports car in every way. I love every minute driving that thing.
Is that the one that Subaru makes kind of the same looking car? That is
Yeah, it's a bit of a mashup of Toyota and Subaru. So Subaru engine, and there's some Subaru bits, there's some Toyota bits, but it's its own unique platform. They share it, so you can get a Subaru version or a Toyota version. I kind of prefer the Toyota version for a couple of reasons, but the one I drove is basically the top spec, so it's got the best brakes, best suspension, and then it's the special edition. It is just a delightful car.
It's not like sorry, keep going.
What I was going to say is, and I said it in the episode. You can drive it because it's not a fast car. You can actually drive the car quickly in that context, and enjoy it every single day, and you're not breaking traffic laws.
Yeah, that's a good car to have. I think if you want the enjoyment of feeling and driving a car, you get something like that. At least it's not like the Toyota Supra where it's just a BMW with a Toyota logo on the front. Everything is BMW in that.
I love the Supra, and the reason I love it is because it's still very unique, and I drive the similar BMWs as well, but there's still lots of BMW in the Supra, but the Supra has the street presence of a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. It is so beautifully designed. Yeah. There's nothing else like it, and anytime I drive those, I don't need to drive. I've covered it enough, but I booked myself a week in a Supra in a couple of months just because it's so awesome.
It's a good car.
I won't get in that either. Just saying.
No, you would not.
The problem with cars is they don't make them for me. I'm 6'5" and over 300 pounds, and it just doesn't work. But
hence the Hummer.
Hence the Hummer, a vehicle that suspension system is built for me.
I think I found Sean's next car, and he's going to be driving it in a couple of months.
Ooh.
Well, we have to come back to this because we said Grenadier and then we completely went off and talked about other things. So before we do that, the driver that was given a break was 75 years old. That is not a reason to give someone a break, charge anyone. And in fact, there's more of a reason to charge someone who's 75 because they're approaching a time in their life when things go wrong. Maybe they shouldn't be driving anymore. Everyone has a different command of their faculties, and I have given many letters to the Ministry of Transportation to have someone's driver's license reviewed because maybe they shouldn't have one anymore. Max says charger all the way. That was for favorite cars. Kuntosh from Cannibal Run. I think that is the Kuntosh from Cannibal Run. That's from Bernhard. This is going back a while. Okay. Let's see here. We've got what made you wear
Mustang
glasses
Dark Horse
today?
Manual.
Yes, I
Dark
just seen
Horse
that earlier.
manual?
That's a nice, yeah.
Oh, and also I wanted to acknowledge this question. I plan on getting my G1. I'm really nervous on how to study. Any tips? Well, boy, oh boy, is your timing good, because if you go to the link in my bio to my YouTube page or to VoiceOver Cop, sorry, not VoiceOver Cop, boy, I have too many different things. TrafficCop.ca, the very first link in the bio is the link to me reading you the driver's handbook. If you want to learn the driver's handbook and read through it with me, not only do I read it to you, but I give commentary, and it's chapter by chapter. The first chapter is posted. You can watch it now, and then every week I'm going to put another chapter in until we're done. So if I have more time, I'll do more than one chapter.
And not to inflate your tires too much. Genuinely do that. If you're on here and you're trying to get your driver's license, what Sean is doing is actually incredible, because some people can read a book, finish a chapter, and be like, what the hell did I just read? Right? Sometimes there's so much information being shoved down your throat when you're reading it. It's hard to sometimes understand what you were reading. So to have someone read it and then explain it in real time what certain things mean, people aren't doing that. And I commend you for doing that. And I think if people are genuinely interested in getting it and want to learn more, they should watch these videos, because your chance of success is going to be a hell of a lot higher watching those videos than if you tried to read the book. So keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
I will keep doing it. Maybe we'll do it for Alberta next. We'll just keep it going. There's a demand for it. People want it. Now I have the ability to use AI avatars to read it, but I think reading it myself, at least the English version, is going to be worthwhile. And then maybe I'll use the avatars for doing the translations into other languages.
Well, when you got a voice like that, Sean, you best be reading.
I got to read it all. Well, it tries to emulate my voice. We'll see. I'll play it later, a test of it. It doesn't work for me. Somebody says, how do you report a police officer on their laptop while driving with an icon of someone scratching their chin? The police are legally permitted to use their laptops for the purposes of running the information about you, to do the investigative work that they have to do as police officers. So yeah, you're not going to have much. You can report.
That's also where emergency calls come to. If a domestic's coming in or an assault, it's coming to your computer. I mean, it's coming over the radio, but a lot of the information you need to know is going to be on that computer while you're responding. So
yes. And Adam Brandon says, I see people on their phone all the time, because they are. People are addicted to it. They just cannot put them down. It's terrible. It's terrible.
And I would actually say our generation is probably worse for that, because when I grew up, it was legal. Like for all of us, it was legal to do it.
Yes, it was.
There were no phones at one point.
And the worst part was
after I started driving.
When the cell phone kick really came out with texting, and was T9, where you had to like hit the same button 3 times to get a letter. It was even worse. You know what I mean? So I see like a lot of our youth aren't doing it as much. Most people I'm charging for distracted driving is 30s and up, for the vast majority of people, because it's people not breaking that habit.
And it's so easy to use. When you're driving, I'm fortunate enough to drive new stuff all the time, and I'm an Apple user, and CarPlay is so easy to deal with. It'll read your text messages, and you can dictate your text messages. You can do it. You don't have to touch the screen to do any of it.
Yep. Just say,
I'm
hey,
waiting
Siri,
for ChatGPT
and now everybody's
full
phone's gonna
integration.
go off.
Siri's great, but I'm waiting for full ChatGPT integration. That will be cool.
Yeah.
Because I love ChatGPT. He, she, they,
Yes.
Whatever it is, they are a big part of my life. I use them constantly throughout the day for everything.
I'm seriously abusing Perplexity.
How is that
right
going?
Now. It is incredible. I was listening to, I don't know what podcast, but one of the investors in Perplexity, one of the early investors in Perplexity, said, here's a discount code to a free year of Perplexity Pro. So I just leave it on deep research, and I ask it questions, and it just does the work in the background, and I come back, and it comes back with a full report on whatever I want.
Wow.
That sounds awesome. And I'm
Mhm.
looking for the question for. I remember I said I had a question. Boy, it was so easy to lose stuff. Jake here said, and this is the question about performance cars that I said I was going to tell
Oh,
you
yes.
about or read you. I don't want to lose it. And here it is on screen. Wrong one. No. Oh, what does the G stand for in licensing? G1, G2, I assume gorgeous. That's not the question. That was a Rizzy. That was a Rizzy. That's a new terminology now. That was a Rizzy. Jake here, do you think it's time to bring in legislation to stop high-performance cars like the Hellcat that promote speed? Like, why do we need cars that go faster than the speed limit? Should we be limiting them to only go the speed limit on certain roads and only open them up when you have the authorization code for a track?
That's a very fair question. I think those days are coming. If that's what you're looking for, just stick around a few more years, and that sort of thing will arrive. But you know, um, you know, the laws
It's
aren't written
sad.
that way. I would love to see licensing standards level up a few notches.
Yeah, I would
Not
agree.
just for performance cars, but it's what we are talking about is society and how society works. And we've got policing, we've got roads, we've got vehicle manufacturers, and all this sort of thing. And I love people who talk about, well, we should just have unlimited speeds here, and that doesn't work, because our number one, we don't have decent licensing standards. Number two, we don't, in Ontario at least, we don't have annual vehicle safety inspection, so that's a bad idea. And number three, the roads are absolutely not built, maintained, or engineered for it.
100%. And you know what?
And
Like,
this is
you
one of
can
the
still
best
do
comments I've
120 in
ever
a
seen.
Prius. So
As a drive test employee, drivers scare me. All ages, all ethnicities. That is
job I
a
wouldn't wanna
very
do.
fair and accurate. I think that all drivers scare me too. It really is a tough situation. Now, I'm curious. I would love to have a conversation with you, Biscuit, because I'd like to know what your standards are. And I have a friend who used to be, but a driver instructor. That now they then went to the RCMP, and then they came to Toronto Police. But I am really interested to know, because I'm getting reports from people who are being failed for not speeding, and I question how that works. So I'd love to have that conversation if you're interested. Let me know. DM me. But yeah, Mr. Steak, I threw in there that they said hello. Let's see here. Stick around for speed control, Big Brother. That's from Jim Leahy. I think that I'm, for one, would advocate for cameras on every street. If we can't make people if people aren't responsible enough to do the right thing on their own, then they deserve a ticket. And if they want to pay to play, that's what they're going to do. And then I also think points should be applied to drive to cameras, because that's what they do in Europe.
Yeah, that's difficult to do. Now, I really don't care. But the most absurd speed camera ticket I received
I just
was
missed the other headphones. Crap.
I gave up. I gave up on all the auctions. The most absurd speed camera ticket I got was for 43 kilometers an hour in a 30 zone.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is well. Listen, some of them are really low and hard to follow. I get it.
I understand. So I understand. I've been driving on that road since I moved to the city decades ago, and had no idea it was 30.
Right.
As someone who is proficient with driving a car, whatever speed I was going, it was appropriate for those conditions. And it was a beautiful sunny day, because I was in a convertible with the top down with my wife in the right seat. And when I got down, I'm like, are you kidding me? But it is what it is. And I'm on the road. There are speed cameras all over the city. It's pay to play, and it is what it is.
So Zach, who, if you saw my video that where I gave him crap for doing 11 over in a 30, he was complaining that he got a speeding ticket. He says, "You're not going to let him have it, Sean? Like he thinks I should give you a hard time. You're a big boy and you pay your tickets." And that's the thing.
I just owned up to it. I think it's absurd, and I'm speaking from my perspective, not a law enforcement perspective. So, I feel free to disagree, but I own it. It's mine. Whatever.
Listen,
But I find it silly.
I think, like I said, I think every road should have it. I think that I don't even have a problem with remote controlled maximums. Like, you're in a zone that's 30. It's not hard to do 30 into 30. I had someone try and tell me that their vehicle idles above 30 kilometers an hour. Baloney.
No.
But the deal is that if you're going to do the crime, essentially, it's not a crime. It's not criminal. But if you're going to commit the offense, pay the ticket, move on. Like the people who lose their minds over an $80 ticket or whatever it is for that speed, I just don't have sympathy. And it sucks that you got a ticket, but I bet you won't get a ticket there again.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
You.
Well, I suspect I drove on that road recently, so you never know. Make another surprise on that. But I think that wasn't a permanent camera, so I'm sure it's moved. But no,
I write 43 kilometer an hour tickets all the time, because in Alberta, like where I live, most of all of our playground and school zones are 30s.
Sure.
So for me, if it hits 4, whether it's 40, 41 and up, you're getting a ticket in those areas, in like the playground school zones. But so it'd be like, was it just a regular 30 kilometer road? Like, is it a residential area? Do you remember? Or like,
yeah. Oh yeah, I know exactly where it was. I'm not going to name names, but I know exactly where it is.
Gotcha.
There's too much personally identifying information in that location. But it's a regular residential street. There were, obviously there's no traffic, no pedestrians, no cyclists, that sort of thing. And for, many years that road was rated at 50, and at some point it went from 50 probably to 40 and then to 30. So I would, and
a lot of cities are dropping them to those 40s and 30s now in residential areas. Calgary just did it. Most of it's all 40 now. So
yep.
And the reason for it is quite reasonable. It's to protect vulnerable road users, specifically pedestrians who are younger, because if you hit them at 30, they will survive. If you hit them or likely survive. At 40, less so. Yep. At 60, definitely not. Like, that's the reason to drop it, is to protect life.
Yep. Totally agree.
This is Toe King 420 says, Toe King 4 says, but TOW, just saying, Toe King, he's a towing guy who's okay. He says far too slow, but far too slow for what? For your convenience or for saving a child if they run into the street? And you could say, well, they shouldn't be in the street, but they are often in the street.
It happens. Yes.
I'm bidding on an EOTech holographic weapons light. Just saying.
Well, on the matter of changing the subject and getting into something more interesting, it's time to it's time to talk about the Ineos Grenadier.
Yes. Thank you for bringing it back up.
And they just came out with a pickup truck version of it, and it's like, the pickup truck looks amazing.
No, because. No.
Well, you're So
like the Jeep Gladiator? No.
I had the wonderful experience, and I think they left it with me for 10 days. So Ineos brought a Grenadier Trial Master for me to play with, and Sean got to experience it, and I had to drive it. I knew a little bit about it before I went into it, and understand what went into it. But it's an incredible story, and
tell us the story.
Well, so it's a great story. 3 mates go to a pub in London called the Grenadier, and they basically say they don't make them like they used to, and Sir Jim, who owns the Ineos, it's a chemical corporation, had the bright idea to approach Land Rover because it just finished production of the previous generation Defender, and he wanted to buy the factory and all the tooling, and they told him no. And he's the one of the few people on the planet who has the resources to say, well, we're just going to make it anyway.
Yep.
And they bought a former Mercedes factory, hired a bunch of very talented people, and they've put together one of the most surprising vehicles I've driven in at least a decade. It is so good. in every way. It's full of character. It's extremely well made. It feels like it will, last several lifetimes. You can run it into a brick wall; it'll still keep going. It is such a unique driving experience. It's like a vintage Defender, but so much better with improved in all the right ways. The front and rear axles come from the same supplier that John Deere uses for their tractors. Oh, wow. Which is overkill on a passenger vehicle. The engine is a BMW inline six turbo. That's very common. It's almost as common as a Chevy V8 is. Parts are available everywhere, but it's tuned specifically for the truck, so it makes a lot more torque. It doesn't make a lot of horsepower, and for those people who like tuning their vehicles, there's a huge tuning market for those things. So you could put more power into it. Not that it necessarily needs it, but and all the switches and buttons, everything inside, they're all IP4K rated, so you can pressure wash the interior of the truck.
Oh my God!
It sounds when you close the door.
Oh, I did a little
thud.
Oh yeah, I did a little ASMR thing just because I'm like, I haven't heard doors close like this in a really long time.
It's like a real car or truck.
It really is. It's the most surprising vehicle I've driven in a really long time. I'm a big fan of what they do and recommend it to everybody. It seems like it's a slow roll on my YouTube channel, but the views keep coming. There's not a lot of search traffic on YouTube for that, but people are seeing it, and I've done a very thorough review of the thing, and I made excuses to drive it. I didn't need to drive it. I just made excuses, and Sean got to drive it as well. So, Sean, it's time to share your thoughts.
Aside from the concussion getting in, because the doors, the frame, it's got a huge compartment inside. Once you get in past the door frame, it is just fine. But once you have to crouch, I had to crouch just to get in, and I forgot to crouch the second time I got in. But what a lovely vehicle. And if I didn't need a third row of seating, I would totally buy one, and I have a friend of mine, turns out a friend of mine who's a dentist has one and loves it. And it just feels right. It has a toot button.
Yeah.
I especially like that.
That lowered optic for like pedestrians and stuff, that lower tone horn.
Yeah.
But that's a very European thing.
Yeah.
Toot.
Yeah. I just love that thing. So at some point, I've got to reach out to the folks at Ineos, but at some point I'm going to drive the pickup truck version just because I have to, because I love the what they've done at Ineos. They're incredible trucks.
Cool.
But the story behind it is so unique, like you said, right? Like this guy owns a chemical, company, and he's, these guys are just sitting at a bar and they want to relive essentially the glory days. Because like the original Defender is a beautifully designed vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what drew my attention to. I'm like, what is this? Because like I love the old design of the Defender, right? And then everything is so manual inside. All the switches kind of feels like you're starting up an airplane. Like it's just so well done. Like people are putting too much technology into like your infotainment system. Like I want to be able to hit a button for my heated seats. I don't want to scroll through a damn, infotainment center to find, like everything's like, it's just amazing.
That's what I've got right here. I've got heated seats and cooled seats on the infotainment screen in this vehicle.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a pain. I just like push the button. I'm done. That's it. You know?
Here is an interesting question from Landon, and it's off the Ineos Grenadier conversation, but why is motorbike insurance crazy for a teen?
It's time to understand statistics.
Yeah.
Yes. and but before we go there, do you think I should pay $315 for a EOTech holographic weapons light that normally sells for $500?
Yes.
That doesn't seem like a big enough deal.
EOTech though, that's like the best. Quality wise, cool. The glass is amazing. Yeah, you probably.
Okay, sorry. Back. And they've got a square. They've got a square all-in-one. What's it called? POS system, cash register, point of sale. $8.99 retail for $3.40. I'm like, I don't have to sell anything, but I just want to buy it because it's a deal.
You're going to be a hoarder soon, Sean.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. No,
that's come
if
and
not
gone.
already.
It's come and gone. I have. You don't know how many microphones I currently own. You don't know how many lighting systems. I have streaming system. I have streaming kits so I can have remote streaming kits that have remote streaming kits. I can set you up with a remote streaming kit. Just saying. All right, back to cars.
or do we have any more questions?
Well, it was insurance crazy for teen, and it is because not only are young persons overrepresented for traffic fatalities, very sadly, generally because of inexperience and risk taking, they tend to do some things, whether it be faster or just not know how to drive because they haven't taken professional training, don't have the experience under their belt, which is why. I do what I do. I want to help educate. I want to help make the road safer. And a lot of that is about getting people to buy into the concept of slow down, plan ahead, leave early, get there without breaking the law so that you don't end up hurting yourself, which is all too often the result. And I've gone to too many funerals and I've gone to too many collisions with bodies on scene to just say, it was an oopsie-doo. No, it's because people are doing consistently the same thing. And speed is usually a large component of that. Mr. Stakes jumped in on that and said, so why not change the age of a driver's license to be 18 instead of 16? And here's the thing. I don't think that will change things too much. What we're seeing in major cities is a delay until people get their license anyway. People are waiting until they're 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When they get their license, they're still an inexperienced driver. So at 16 years old, learning to drive, you get it out of your system and you start driving normally. If you're 18, 19, 20, you're still going to likely go through a lot of that silliness of I've got a car and I can go quick.
Yeah.
Maybe you reduce it a little bit, but I don't know about that.
Specifically with like motorcycles and more specifically with crotch rockets, let's be honest, it's overconfidence. They drive them like they've been driving them for years and they know, like they drive them like they're on a track. Mm-hmm. And in my experience here, and we're dealing with someone right now who's on a 6 months driving suspension, and I got him doing 107 or 108 and a 50. No. And he's like 19 years old, didn't even have a motorcycle license, and he's still driving.
How is he still driving?
They push them to the limits. Well, because just because he has a suspension doesn't mean he wants to adhere to it, right?
So for the fine gentleman who yells at me for saying, why do I endorse giving tickets? I also would endorse jail time if it was the appropriate reason.
100%.
These people should not be walking the street.
They're going to kill somebody.
Hurt other people or hurt anyone. Yes. M25 in London cameras, like the M25 in London cameras. That's big bad pitbull who's shouting out. Is the M25 in London cameras the ones that give points? London, Ontario. We're talking London, England.
I think he's talking London.
M25. It's London.
Yeah.
London has cameras everywhere though, like pedestrian, everything. You can't walk down a single street in London without having your face on a camera being recognized.
It's a little much. I feel talking about Big Brother, I don't like the idea that the coppers are, and I'm a former police officer, I don't like the concept that, man walking around with a camera and coppers walk up and saying, what are you doing? Because we've been watching you on the cameras. And that to me is a little creepy. That's a little too much. And I've got friends with the that work in the Met and the City of London Police. And I don't like that component of it. But driving a car, once you hit a threshold where it's interesting, I have no problem with that. And they do start and finish time. So you get on the highway, it clocks you in, you get off at the other end, it tells you how fast you've been going on average, which I think is a very fair way of doing it. And then there's point marking where they give you a specific point, you trigger it, and you're owned. But I don't have a problem with it because if you don't break the law, you don't get a ticket. The wandering around being investigated because you look suspicious, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
A little overreach, if you ask me.
But I like certain things. I don't like other things. I'm that kind of guy. I have lots of opinions and I share them openly.
I should call it a night because I'm on far longer than I anticipated.
Yes, you were going to be here for 30 minutes and then you're going to take off.
It's my fault. Every time I come on, we go way over.
Yeah, exactly.
It is entirely his fault. I did win the EOTech, by the way.
Oh, lovely.
I got to spend $300.
Good.
I spent a grand total this week at the King of the North auction of $22 plus taxes and fees.
How did you? Oh, a Tascam
Amazing.
digital recorder. Do you need another one?
I know I don't need it. I just saw that, and I don't need another one.
I
The
have more
latest,
than enough recording stuff.
yeah, the Zoom that I bought a couple of months ago, which was a steal. I think I stole that for $50. They're $200 new, and
This one is $50 too.
I know it. The Zoom replaced my the same model from whatever 5 or 8 years ago, and it's so much better. I'm good. I don't need any more microphones.
You're a bad influence, Sean. Is what
Yeah,
I am, because I brought it to the website.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't even
Yes.
want to know how much I spent. Do we want to find out? I'm gonna hold on. Let's find out how much. Oh,
Don't
my
look.
goodness.
Don't look.
You'll cry. People are gonna see you cry.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, it's 2 auctions. That's 2 nights. That's
It's actually just last week's auction.
it's Sundays that
Yeah.
But I did okay. Not everything here is for me. A good friend of mine I bid on behalf of, and sometimes I bid on stuff for Brian. So $300. I won a RevPoint Pop 3 Plus 3D scanner for 3D printing. So this is a camera system that you can rotate around an object, and it will 3-dimensionally scan it so you can 3D print it. So we're gonna have fun with that.
Oh yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Okay, all right. I
awesome.
support that purchase.
I thought you might.
Yes.
What else did I buy?
Custom car
Here's
parts?
a $5 purchase that I think is really cool. I bought an engine skid plate for a Pan America 1250 motorcycle that I do not own, but a buddy of mine does, and he's getting a part that is no way only $5, and he's getting a gift. It has a mild scratch on it, but it's a skid plate. It got skidded on.
That's what it's meant for.
And here's a crazy thing. I bought, as we go, this is obviously not related to driving, but I've been handyman repairing some stuff. What do we call it? Appliances. And one of those was my sister-in-law's washing machine. It had a leak. So I dismantled it. And in doing so, I saw the rubber gasket in the front had a hole in it. Nothing to do with the leak, but it had a hole. Wouldn't you know that the exact part came up on auction? So for $5, I got a $60 gasket. Just
well
crazy.
done.
Anyway,
Well done.
I got some stuff.
So before I go, I'm
I
gonna.
got some more microphones.
Oh, jeez. No more microphones. I don't need it. I'm good. I'm overwhelmed with microphones. So I'm gonna leave a tip for every single driver out there, and
All right.
it comes from performance driving and teaching race driving and all that stuff. But do yourself a favor and look at, when you're driving, look as far down the road as possible. Get in that habit. And it at the end of the day, driving is primarily visual, and as we say, hands follow eyes. So just like in sports, you've got to use your eyes first, and it is an incredible habit, and you'll be able to react to things sooner. You'll be able to avoid all kinds of things. But the trick is not to look immediately in front of the car, but as far down the road as possible.
If you're looking in front of the car, you can't react to it anyway. It's happened already.
No, it's much too late. And as a racer, it's the number one thing above everything else. There's nothing else about the act of driving a race car at a high level, or a high performance car at a high level, that's more important than vision.
I've been talking to my kids, and my kids are quite young; they're under 10, and I tell them, look far enough in advance. You're looking at the horizon, and tell me what you see. And they, of course, with their peripheral vision, see everything else. But if they look at something close, they tend to miss all the other stuff. So you want to have that wide field of view, and you're seeing everything. It's all being absorbed, taking as much information as possible. This, I put it up on screen for a second, then took it down. Cop gave me a $615 ticket while I was setting up my maps, as it was not working properly at a red light. What do you think of that?
Holding, viewing, or manipulating is how it's defined for us.
Yeah, exactly. If you're holding your phone and rebooting an app or rebooting your phone, you're using your phone.
I had a person set out a green light today because the light head went from red to green, and they were just sitting there and they were looking down at their phone. So
Well, that's fail to proceed on green is a charge on its own, but why
Yeah.
not couple that with a cell phone charge? There is
Yep.
no excuse for it. You set it and forget it. If it's not working right, you pull over, park legally, and fix it, but not at a red light. You are driving. You're supposed to be actively paying attention to what's going on around you. If there was a Mack truck making its way towards you and you were buried in your phone to fix the maps, well, you're going to get eaten, and it's
Mhm.
because you're not focused on driving. So that is an interesting question or complaint. And then
Mhm.
Vic wants to know what law enforcement in Ontario would be interested in info regarding USA convicted criminals working here. And I would say any one of them.
Yeah, they
Any
kind
of
of talk.
them.
They talk to one another.
Yeah, CBSA
reach
would
out.
probably like to know that too.
Yeah.
I honestly, if you have any information about a convicted criminal who is not lawfully in Canada, who might be an overstay or not ineligible for entry into this country, then call your local police department where they are. Obviously, don't call Toronto if you're in London, Ontario, because we're not taking the drive. You call the local jurisdiction that you're in where you have information in relation to it. That's the best information for you.
Well,
But before you go, Brian,
All the stuff
yeah,
anyway.
okay.
Yeah,
Go
before you
ahead,
go, Brian, man, it was an absolute pleasure. I've heard a lot about you from my dear friend Sean here, and I very much enjoyed our chat, and I'm hoping
yes,
that maybe we can
same.
do this again because it was great. I could talk about cars all day, so we might have to take over this podcast one of these days of the show.
You
I
know
was going to
what?
say I don't even
That
want to
is-
be here.
that is it's going to be traffic cop after dark.
Forward slash.
car enthusiast edition.
Yeah,
And I'm all in.
Yeah.
I can talk cool cars all day long. And
yeah.
Well,
And,
I think if we set it out as a car talk one where we'll still get the occasional question about traffic law, but I think if we steer one that way, I think we'll have a really great opportunity, and we'll just have it as a podcast setup.
Yeah, and I've got whatever, I've got 700 episodes on the channel, so I've kind of driven everything, and I've got lots of opinions.
I have a great video that someone sent me of a ton of drive. It's like a bunch of clips of really wild stuff. So
Yeah.
you've got to go. Otherwise, I would say I would put it up right now for you to watch. But we can always do this another time.
I would love to do it again with both you gentlemen another time. But yeah, it's definitely time to go.
No. As it and my partner called me already saying I got to talk to you. So this is me calling him back after I get off the phone the call with you guys.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure. I had a slice. It was a good time. The only thing that would have made it better was popcorn. But then again, I'm not eating popcorn right now. I spent too much money whilst there was a little bit of distraction going on, but I had a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, thanks, guys.
Pleasure.
Logan, great to be on the show with you, and definitely looking forward to doing it again. Thanks, Sean.
Absolutely.
Take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Because I'll actually give him a call tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it'll definitely happen. Okay.
Yeah, as we try and plan our attack on driving to Barrie.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
$22 of purchases.
Yeah, it's almost not worth it at this point. All right.
I'll take care of it. I will pick up your stuff. See, that's how we work. That's we take
Yeah.
care of it. We
Thank
make
you.
it happen. All right.
Okay.
Have a good one.
All right. Good night.
All right. So Logan, don't go away. And Brian has said goodbye. And I will now that I know what it looks like to have two people on screen, I can
I thoroughly enjoyed that. Not
He's
that I
a
don't enjoy
great
my
guy.
time with you, but man, I'm so passionate about cars, and I watch car
He's the
videos all the
right
time.
guy.
I watch Doug DeMuro. I watch Throttle House, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, now you were gonna be
Well, I'm gonna. If he's got a YouTube channel, I know what I'll be doing tonight.
you, sir, are going to be deep diving, and I will tell you that if there's drone photography on there, it might be me who's there. Check out for certain. Go check out the one with the magical truck we were talking about.
The Grenadier, yes,
The
absolutely.
Grenadier, I think it's just fantastic. I seriously want one, but
Yeah.
I can't make the business case for it because there's just
So what
there's
you do
just-
though, you buy one and you put voiceover cop all over it, right? You make it a work vehicle, and then you can claim mileage and
Oh, no,
gas.
I get you, but what I'm talking about, is the fact that I need a third row because my immediate family is but four. However, I often transport a sister-in-law, a mother-in-law, and a father. And for
That's
that,
what the roof's for.
Well, there is that. Well,
They have a beautiful roof
Sadly,
rack.
the law says that everyone needs a seatbelt.
That's true. Damn laws.
Let's see here. Radek says, if you need it, King's Auction has the best deal for it. King, what the best? Wait, King of the North? Is that what you're talking about? Because that's where I was.
Yeah, he was complimenting what you're saying pretty much.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. So yeah, I bought a. I looked at this thing, and on the wonderful auction site, one had a listing for $1,800 and one had a listing for $500. I don't know which one I got, but either
Hopefully
one
not
was
the
good
$1,800
because
one.
I would like the 1,800. I don't know the difference. It was the same model number with an added 0. I wonder if that is for night vision or something else. I don't know.
That's your site you just got, right?
That's the EOTech. I'll send you a picture of it.
They're amazing. EOTech, like, man, like you can't. They're like I said, their glass is unmet. Like the military use them. Like they're good for a reason.
They look cool. I just
tested and true.
They may take away all of our guns if liberals get in, but at the same time,
what did Charlton Heston say? From my cold dead hand. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Charles Heston, yes, he was an advocate. Let's see here. What is this? Oh my goodness. I'm just seeing texts. Okay. We should, what is the rest of your night? You're going to be watching Brian Max on YouTube.
Honestly, and I'm not just saying that. I'm probably I go down the rabbit hole in car shows all the time. So
and
that's why I knew stupid stuff like Chip
show.
Foose and the Prowler. Like I know the stupid stuff that I don't have anyone to talk to about.
But that's amazing. So now you have somebody that we're going to turn this into a separate channel where we just go off and talk cars. One little tidbit: the microphone that Brian is wearing is a
Isn't
microphone.
that just from his phone?
No,
headset?
That's what he's wearing, a Bose one right now. But the microphone he's using in his videos of late is a microphone, a Bluetooth microphone that I picked up at auction
from King.
Just saying, King of the North.
King of the North.
Not a paid promotion, but man, do I spend a lot of money there. The fact my wife isn't very happy about that, but I do get some great deals, even if I'd
as long as you make up for like you buy her some stuff while you're at it.
I bought shoes for the kid. I got some great stuff today. Don't no doubt. The kid, everyone's getting a little something. Christmas came early, we got Mr. Steak who says, side note, I was looking at MapQuest, flipping through CDs and changing gears in the 90s.
Ooh.
Yeah. So my daughter brought up the fact that when I was born, seatbelts weren't legally required.
Crazy, eh?
That's the year that the seatbelts came in, 1974.
And even I remember when this would have been like very early 90s. Even backseat to cars were just lap belts. Like they had, that was it. They just fold you in half, right? Like,
and people still think that that's safer because there's some people who really think that seatbelts are bad.
I'd rather bruises across my ribs and my shoulders than not have a shoulder strap and literally fold in half because I've seen it. So
I've seen ejected bodies. I've seen all sorts of fun stuff.
They keep you in the car for a reason. So
it's the best way to keep you in the car. And if you think that preventing the ejection of a body is just for fun. No, it's yes, you may not survive a collision, but it's nice to have all your parts in one place. However, it's also because if you're going to be maintained, if they're going to be able to work on you, you might lose the ability to walk because things happen with seatbelts. It's true.
Yeah.
But if you fly out the window, you probably aren't going to make it at all. Maybe that's what they want.
And and the stupid thing is I've heard people say, I thank God I wasn't wearing my seatbelt because I got ejected and I landed in the grass and I was fine. I had no injury. But then one in a
gazillion chances.
Right. I've also been to a collision where someone was halfway out the window and the car rolled over top of them because they were in the middle of being ejected. And then the car proceeds to roll.
Yeah, people don't think about those situations.
They don't. Yeah.
Andrea Cuts. I said it right once and then I was Cutrazola.
She's a regular on here.
She's been around a couple of times now. Yeah. It's good. We're part of the family. What is you're not holding the phone? What if you're not holding the phone? It's in your hand. Let me try that again. What if you're not holding the phone in your hand and it's on a stand? 3 times and I got it right. So the deal is that is still using it. If you are touching it. Now, first of all, you can, when I say that you're allowed to answer hang up, that is only if it's mounted. If it's in your hand, you're absolutely breaking the law. There's no exemption for it. You can have it mounted and look at the map mode in Ontario. Could be different in different jurisdictions. Can you look at the map mode in Alberta?
like you said, as soon as it's mounted, like our law says, holding, viewing, or manipulating. Now, by viewing, it'd be no different than having, as soon as it's mounted, it's like having your infotainment system. You know, if you're glancing over it at it once in a while, that's not considered viewing, right? No different if someone is just like answering the call while they're driving and then they hit the speakerphone button. It's no different than, you know, touching something on your display, right? Now, if you're physically staring at the phone to do all of that, well, now it's viewing. Even if it's mounted, if you're taking all your focus
GPS
to
mode,
stare at
viewing?
it, well, I mean, you really shouldn't be staring at your GPS
You would hope not.
while you're driving, right? If you're glancing at it, that's different. A glance is different than full on moving your head to stare at the screen, right? So,
yeah, I mean,
the mounted thing is the key.
But if you were staring at your GPS, that was an old school GPS that wasn't a cell phone, still careless driving, so you could be easily charged for that. I mean, and careless driving is always an option, even if it was your one built into the vehicle. That's an option.
I mean, Garmin was always pretty good for saying, you know, in 500 meters, turn left.
The audio prompts are amazing, aren't they? And if you wear an Apple Watch, if you use the Apple software, it will actually vibrate differently for your upcoming left or right turn, so you can get a non-verbal, a non-audible alert to tell you what you're doing. So I never remember which direction is what vibration. I just go, where do I have to look?
Yeah.
I hate audio. My phone, I don't even know if my phone has a ringer. It never makes noise because I always have it turned off.
It's always on vibrator.
My watch alerts me to my stuff, which is awesome. Yeah. Let's see here. We got Nicholas who says, Brian kind of looks like the children's author Robert Munch. Interesting.
Robert Munch, yeah. I see.
Not sure I agree, but I'm interested. It's interesting. Johnny Mombourque, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sure I'm missing some letters on the end because it's ... and ellipses. Johnny says, where does the money go towards from speed cameras? Haven't got one, but a ton of coworkers have and friends, and he's just curious. I believe it's a split between the province and the city.
And it's like that in most provinces, like even us. I think the province of Alberta takes, I think it's like 40% of ticket revenue. And then the other portion goes to the municipality that it was written in. But that goes toward road infrastructure. Well, they say it goes toward road infrastructure, all that kind of stuff.
They say.
Right. But yeah.
Again, by the way, scam alert, new scam. I'm now getting texts that say, from the CRRA or GSC CRA, return $850 from CRA services. You can collect your return. Just click here. Don't click there. I don't know why I need to say that, but I've heard of so many scams and some folks fall for them. So be aware.
I like the ones when they call you. I don't recommend doing this, but when some people say, well, if you call and you answer, then they get your phone number or whatever, but they've already got your phone number. So
no, it's that you got a live one here. It actually got an answer. So they verify that it's a human.
I like messing with them when they call me personally.
So what's your favorite response for duct cleaners? I'll tell you mine.
For duct cleaners? I've never had that one. Usually it's right now it's a lot of
but Amazon I got to interrupt
packages.
You because RS6, who is Wayland 208, he put up 3 emojis of a pig because he identifies as a barnyard animal. He likes to roll in the mud. I'm sure he's trying to be, quick-witted and make a comment that's, contra or not nice to police. But really, I think he's pretty funny. I'm glad that he's a pig.
Yeah, a little oink oink for you, my friend.
Well, that was just before I banned him. I don't like it. I can put up with a lot of crap, but I don't like for some reason when you make pigs, you're just, it's not nice. Not I've been called worse. I don't care, but I at the same time say
I have red hair. Trust me, skin is thick.
Oh yeah, I never even thought of it. Yeah, I was gonna go somewhere else. If you go through a yellow light at a red light camera, will you still get a ticket? In the description of the light or of the description of the camera, take it away. Do you get a yellow light ticket at a red light camera?
So if you don't go through and trigger the camera, then you're not
on a red light.
On a red light. If you go through the yellow and then it goes red as you're going through and it triggers.
No.
So that's the thing. We don't have a lot of red light cameras here.
Don't you? Okay.
So you have to trigger.
It has to be red before you enter. You have to cross
Yeah.
the line after it's red. If you enter on a yellow, you haven't run a red light. You've run a yellow light, which is a ticket for a police officer delay, but not a ticket for a camera that gives you red light tickets. If it was a yellow and red light ticket camera, then I would, I'm just making fun because
everybody would get yellow tickets from cameras if they had yellow light tickets. Oh my God. People think it's the speed up light. Oh, I better speed up. No, it means stop. We tell people yellow means stop. Yellow means you need to prepare to stop because it's going red. It doesn't mean hit the gas and try and make it through. Because that's when you go through mid-intersection and someone's not paying attention, as maybe they don't need to, going through the other way on the green. And then that's where your T-bones happen.
It's when cars are trying to turn. That is when they're taking that opportunity, when they think you're going to slow down. And that's when some of the most deadly collisions occur.
That's my big pet peeve, is people who don't stop on a right turn at a red light. They just come up, look left, and they turn it into a yield. I hate that. Someone
told me that is not legally required in some countries, that you don't have to stop for a red when you're making a right turn, which makes no sense. 4J23 says, who came up with the 200-meter law for tow trucks? I was in a collision and the officer booted the tow that I required to get up to the reporting center. It doesn't make any sense. So it does make sense. The reason that the 200-meter law for trucks has come into play is because while you are dealing with your collision, they come in and start trying to tell you that you need certain services. They tell you that they're going to help you out. And then there's huge scams surrounding this industry. They take you to a body shop where they get a kickback. They charge you 20% premiums because that 20% is going to the tow truck driver. Like, there's tons of issues. And sometimes you don't need a tow. Sometimes you do. When the police come, they investigate, and then they call what's called a contract tow, at least in the GTA, or in the province of Ontario, actually, because it's now provincial law. They call a contract tow. They talk to someone who's been approved and vetted by the police agency. They tow you with approved rates to the location with standard fees, and then it's safer and better. And they also make sure that they're adhering to the laws. Like, if you get into a tow truck, or if you allow a tow truck to hook you up, your car up, hooking you up would be weird. Hooking your car up makes a lot more sense. And if they do that without having given you a signed estimate, they can charge you anything they want, right? Yeah. That's against the law. So the police are there to protect you. That is the reason why they're not letting them get inside and manipulate or control the situation. There are some tow truck drivers that are amazing. There are also some criminals who have tow trucks, and which one you get could be randomly your fate. So,
and when I lived in Ottawa, man, I'll tell you, they run like a little mafia out there. I mean, there are so many tow companies going after other tow companies, destroying other vehicles
and burning buildings.
It's brutal. Like, I remember when I lived in Cornwall in Ontario, you would have a collision and 4 different tow companies would show up because they all had scanners.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, then the scene is chaotic as it is for a major collision. And then now you've got all these random people who don't need to be there. You've got these flat deck trucks, or for you guys, probably like a 3/4 ton with a boom on the back, right? Like, you need to worry more about the collision, the people, and the vehicles before you start worrying about what tow company's coming in. And we do that out here. We the RCMP have contract tows. So 1 week they call one tow company, the next week they call the other.
They do the system where they switch it around. Here they don't do that. Not in all jurisdictions, some do. And it really makes it easier. There's no fighting at that point. But when they're all willing to beat each other with crowbars or stab or shoot each other to get the deal, literally, it's a huge problem. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous for tow truck drivers. And I was talking to a tow truck driver recently who doesn't even tow. He does recovery of vehicles for like when you don't pay your bills. He doesn't tow people for collisions, and they came after him, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm not competing with you.
I'm not that guy."
And he's a fast talker. He got out of problems, but I've seen CAA arc. You have CAA?
No, my in-laws do. But yeah, we have CAA. Yeah. We have AMA out here, but it's CAA, same thing.
So they are an automobile club, and you're a member. I saw guys like harassing the automobile club guy. He doesn't even take calls for anybody. Like, he just goes to member stuff. And they were harassing him. You're in my turf, get it. Come on. So very interesting. But that's the reason, is to protect you, actually. It's not to hurt you or make it inconvenient. It's to protect you from people who are trying to do you wrong.
Scam you. Yeah.
And Jay continues to say, so why is it not controlled? Why pay the Ontario fees and not be able to provide a service? I don't know what side of the game you're on, but in terms of why is it not controlled, it is legislated. There are rules. I think that the Ontario government really screwed up when they changed the rules because we had a better system in the city of Toronto before the provincial government took over and screwed it all up. And now I think they made it worse for Toronto, but I'm sure they're going to claw it back and figure it out after they did such a colossal damage to the industry.
That's where like a city the size of Toronto, Ottawa, have the police should have their own tow trucks, like in New York and other places,
and their own pounds. And why
Their
would they
own
have
everything.
anybody in the private business?
right? And then you'd have your own guys doing your own thing.
Almost every American city, big American city, does that. They do
They have,
all their own.
the
towing.
police have their own tow trucks.
Yeah.
I know
they
New
have
York
tow
is
yards
big on
run by
that.
police officers.
Yep.
Whether you think it's good, bad, or otherwise, it's regulated, it's controlled, it's consistent.
Yep.
And fewer people shoot at you.
Right.
Daniela says, I got messages about tickets I've gotten. I'm like, damn, I got to stop getting tickets. Yeah, the scams are amazing. We saw your car. You got a ticket. Pay us by this link. No.
We're getting a lot of Amazon stuff. People calling saying you owe your Amazon package couldn't be delivered.
So we started talking about this. What is your favorite response for duct cleaners?
I've never had someone call me for duct
Really?
cleaning. No, honestly, I've never had that one.
I get tons of these calls, and my favorite response is, I'm so glad you called. I've been waiting by the phone for your call. When are you going to get here? Like, chop. I'm on the 14th floor. Get up here.
The elevator's not working.
Yeah, well, they start with, well, first when I say I've been waiting for your call, when are you going to be here? They get a supervisor on the line because they got a hot one, they got a live one here, and they're going to get all the information and get a contract. And I'm like, well, I'm on the 14th floor. I'm sure the super downstairs in the lobby told you where to go. Like, why aren't you here yet? Well, we don't do apartment buildings. Well, why the hell are you calling me? I don't live in an apartment building.
Yeah.
But it is definitely if hopefully they just say apartment building, don't call this guy again. Hopefully. And what about scam calls where it's Amazon? I love the Amazon ones.
Yeah, I can't say on here what I tell people to do whenever they finally pick up the phone, but it's usually to walk to the top of the very highest building they have and
take a jump.
I'll leave the left, or reach another desk and pull something out, but whatever.
I usually say it'll say that we've got your order for a brand new iPhone 7, and I'm like, oh my god, that was my favorite phone. I want to get it back. My collection's incomplete.
Was my favorite phone.
Yeah, I want another one. I've been looking for one. I didn't know I ordered it, but I'm so happy.
I mean, iOS won't update it, but I definitely want
fantastic.
one.
Yeah, I my favorite was when I was getting those calls on my police issued iPhone. Yeah, and I'd say like the ones that said, it's with a very thick accent from not here, saying I'm Officer Jones, and we're going to have a warrant for your arrest. And I'm like, that's fantastic. I'm already at the police station. Why don't you come get me? Like, you just come upstairs, second floor, detective office. I'm right here. And they're like, what? You're trying to tell me you're at the police station? I'm like, yeah, because this is a police phone, you dingbat. I have had a lot of fun with that. Alex Martin wants to know if you can massively tint a sunroof. Can you tint the sunroof in Alberta?
Yes.
That's probably the only thing in Alberta you can tint.
But if you're going to tint it that far, just don't buy a car with a sunroof.
Well, you can have a sunroof or not. Sorry, you can have if you open it for the air ventilation, you don't have to see through it. Mine is always closed. I have a sunroof and I always close the shade on it unless I actively open it.
Yeah. Out here though, we have so much hail and like golf ball, baseball size hail.
You would break it.
We have a Chrysler Pacifica, one of the new vans, and the whole roof is panoramic. And every time it hails, I try to get that thing into the bay as fast as I can.
Because you're worried about it.
Because I'm worried about the whole windshield coming in.
Oof.
So
I've had a windshield dropped out of my slush. An 18-wheeler went the other way on the highway, and it just knocked it out into my lap. I was on the highway. It was no windshield. It was very interesting driving with no windshield.
Squinting.
I came to a stop pretty quick.
Yeah.
For Miss Michelle says, what do you do when you witness someone speeding, driving erratically, either on city roads or highway? If it's something that you're concerned about, the safety of all, it could be a 911 call. That's an emergency. If it's something that you're concerned about somebody getting hurt. Yeah.
Yep. That's probably the best advice across the board.
Yes. What about Officer? What is this? Somebody, I don't know who this hood is. And Turbo Taro says, I just send the duct cleaning to my neighbor.
Oh God.
You ought to mean.
Savage.
Horace says, can an officer use dash camera footage give a citation for an infraction they didn't witness? Can they use someone else's dash cam footage in order to lay a charge against a driver?
Do it all the time.
Yeah, what can they? Do you have to identify the driver or just the vehicle?
Register.
Because in Ontario, you would need to identify the driver.
Oh, actually, yeah. So we would just go to the registered owner here. But see, now I realize dash cams is not the same as the school bus cameras, but same here. We'll get a video from our local school bus, our Grasslands Public School Board, and we'll get a statement from the driver. We get the camera footage from the bus, and we charge the registered owner.
Well, if you're charging the owner, that's cool because well, do you charge them as though they were the driver, or are you charging the owner as is it a different offense?
It's a different offense. So it'd be Section 160, which is our registered owner offense section under the traffic safety.
Driver responsibility charge.
Yeah.
Or owner responsibility charge, I should
owner
say.
of vehicle involved in contravention of, and then we would put the section. So no points, but they still get hit with the big fine. So.
Oh, thank God. Sorry, I just got news. Florida Republican defeats Democrat in the House U.S. House special election in Florida.
Oh, like it was Florida. Come on, Democrats weren't going to win Florida.
They were worried a little bit. That is fantastic news. What's that? I missed what you said.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
I thought you said something.
No.
Anyway, I'm pleased. I was quite worried. I was never going to be able to go back to Florida if the Democrats won. Not that I have a political affiliation with the United States. I don't. I would be in fear of if they flip that state, just because that would be a war zone. I think they would take to arms because there are a lot of guns in Florida.
And if you hear of a weird story on the news, probably Florida. People eating each other.
What is it with the Florida man thing?
Like.
I've never had that experience.
Like,
I lived in Florida for 5 years. I love Florida. It's my second home. I don't know about this Florida man, but there are, like, I've had alligator meat. Have you had alligator meat?
No, but there's a place here you can get it and order it. But
gator, some gator. Yeah. And you go through the swamp boats. Those are cool things. Those are cool.
I'd love to be on a fan boat. Yeah,
you've never done it?
No, I'd like to go on a fan boat, though. Those things are pretty wicked.
I think we should start vacationing.
Go through the Everglades. Yeah. I'm going to Mexico on Saturday if you want to come. Last minute show, but hey. So, by the way, I won't be here next week. So, just 7 days. Okay. Just 7 days.
That's good to know. I'm glad I got to write
I would do it from Mexico, but I can't guarantee I'll be coherent.
Oh, yes. And you deserve a break. It's good.
Oh, it's been too long. It's actually going to be my wife and I's honeymoon after... Oh,
years.
God, I should probably know the 7 years of marriage. Oh, God, she's going to hate me. Yeah.
Turbo Taro says, some Ultima driver was tailing me and threw a cigarette at my car. Should I post his face online? That is up to you. Certainly, if they were being aggressive and doing some weird stuff, I'd be letting the police know.
But just for driving a Nissan Altima, sure, I would.
That's just the reason right there.
And you know what? That offense here alone, in Alberta, especially in the prairies where I live, is probably the number 2 or number 3 leading cause of massive grass fires in our southern part of the province. Because out here in the summer, we don't get a lot of rain, and that grass and those prairie fields get dry, and a single cigarette butt will do thousands of acres of damage of farmers' lands. So, yeah, that's a big one out here. If we catch someone flicking a cigarette butt, yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's like a $200 or $300 ticket under the Environmental Protection Act or something like that.
Well,
I haven't issued it much.
I think
it's depositing waste from a highway. Yeah, jail would solve a lot of things.
He looks like he does. Oh, interesting. Yeah, definitely report it. It looks like he looks like he does fentanyl. I don't know what that look is in particular. I was never exposed to tremendous fentanyl users versus any other drug, so I couldn't differentiate. A drug user looks like a drug user to me, as opposed to one that, mind you, what is, you see all these videos of people just standing up but bent over and not going anywhere.
Yeah. Amazing that your body could keep you that stiff.
There was a guy that was like asleep in front of the cash register standing up, and he was
Just zombies.
zombies.
Yeah.
And then there's a drug they're calling crocodile, and it's a crocodile but in Russian, and apparently it gets their skin to be scaly and weird stuff. Like, look it up. Yeah, it's crocodile. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Jump
scare. Let's see here. We got a bunch of people jumped in here. Sheila Wheely, Jonah, what's going on? Mr. It's MDRX96. I'm just looking to see who's in here, who's going on. If there's no other questions, if there's no other stuff, we've been chatting about all sorts of random stuff tonight. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. You are not.
It is
are
9
you
o'clock,
Thursday?
so we've done 2 hours already. Yeah.
We've done 2 hours.
I will be here Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah, we've been doing pretty good.
Thursday's awesome.
Yeah, Thursday I'll be here.
Not a firefighter
then...
just joined the live stream. Just saying. He popped in just now. Not a firefighter.
Oh.
He's a good guy.
Oh,
we had a mutual.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I know him from around the internet. We have a mutual friend who's not an undercover cop, and seriously, actually, not an undercover cop. If you would like to laugh a lot, go find his channel. He's got a few million followers. Sadly, he's no longer creating content from what I can see. He's got family stuff going on, and I feel for him, and I hope that for the best for him. But Turbo Taro says not an undercover cop, but one of the best creators on the platform as far as I'm concerned. He's the guy that he's a spoof guy. He's a computer software developer, but he stays in character on the channel for the most part. And he would do stuff like things cops don't want you to know. You can take this stud finder bought at Home Depot, and if you put it on your dash, it operates on the same frequency as a radar detector, and the cops can't see you. And the traction that his videos got were just next level. If you take a banana and rub it on your license plate, photo radar won't catch your plate. Like, it was amazing, the kind of
absurd stuff.
It was absurd. It was meant to
it was meant to be
funny.
satirical. Yeah.
Brilliant.
But people
and the
probably
people
did
like, that doesn't work, man. I tried that. I got a ticket. Like, it was amazing.
Exactly.
It's amazing. The people bought it hook, line, and sinker. Carolyn Frank says your voice is so calming. Thank you very much. Sadly, we're going to shut down the live, but I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We're back again Thursday night to do another After Dark. Turbo Taro says I did it and wasted a banana. and not a firefighter says one of the all-time greats. Jackson Rattray 2 says, did you retire? I did. I left the police service after just under 25 years. I miss every day. I miss it every day. But I left early to take care of family, and that's what I'm doing. So it is a new adventure.
Still making a difference, though, Sean. You're still making a difference.
I'm trying to make a difference doing what I do. And but I still got to work. And this is something that is kind of work, although I don't get paid for it.
It's kind of a passion. I think you're passionate about it.
And I'm hoping
makes it easy to do.
We're looking for sponsors and people who want to donate to what we're doing. We might have to make some merch to try and make some money, because this all costs money. I have equipment and electricity and all the things that comes with it. And as much as I love doing it for free, at some point I need to actually pay electrical bills.
Well, you put up some merch, especially some of them nice hats. I need one to wear next time I'm on one of your shows. I keep calling it a podcast.
I was coming for a visit here, but I have a hat for you.
I will buy them to support.
Well,
and what you're trying to do.
You're supporting me by being on the show with me, my friend.
People aren't here for me, Sean. They're here for you.
Wow, no. I bet you there's a lot of Alberta people that have just jumped onto the channel because of you.
Yeah.
What else we see here? I can see people trying that stuff. Yes, absolutely. Daniel says, do police officers keep their badges after they retire? So generally speaking, what they do is they pop out the center crest and replace it with a plate that says retired, and then they get to have a retired one that has no legal authority other than it represents the fact that they used to be a police officer.
Yeah.
Robert wants to know our thoughts on the U-turn. I don't think it's a good move. I think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
If done correctly.
In Alberta, they're in most places in Alberta, they're illegal because they're a dangerous maneuver. Mm-hmm. Mainly in intersections you're allowed, but like you can't do, like I said before, you can't do U-turns on. Or
you can't pop a what? What do you call it?
Flipping a shitty. You can't flip a shitty in the middle between two intersections on a street. You can't flip a shitty in Alberta.
Flip a shitty. The terminology.
I know. We are the rednecks of Canada.
Flip a shitty.
Yeah.
And user lots of numbers says dangerous if you don't know how to drive. Daniela says
Have you been on the streets
I
lately?
get Google Maps telling me to make a U-turn. I'm like, no thanks.
Nope.
And Andrea Cutrazola, one day I'll get it to roll smoothly from, when I say it, says, I know somebody that can make merch for you. Check out Jet Stitching. Well, I do have FM Embroidery and FM Promotions. They're friends of mine. They've been making merch for me forever. They're the ones who made this jacket for me. And then I made the hat myself. I actually laser engraved this patch and ironed it on here because I have a hat press and a shirt press. But I will check out Jet Stitching. Are they local to Toronto? I like to look at local places. But I've been dealing with FM Promotions since 1999. They are good friends. So
wow, that's a long
embroidery
time,
stuff. Yeah. They are my people. And silkscreen stuff too. Although I've never had anything silkscreened.
Have you ever worn silk? I love wearing silk. You're never mad in silk.
I had a silk shirt in the 90s.
Oh, I'm talking about underwear.
Oh, I have silk underwear.
Specific.
I don't think I've worn it in many moons, but
You're
I think
always
I got
happy.
Winnie the Pooh silk underwear that my wife bought me from Disney.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, you're
so.
never angry in silk. I don't care what anybody says.
Jet Stitching's in Tottenham. It's a bit of a drive for me. I'm in Toronto.
Tottenham.
Let's see.
Never even
Robert
heard of it.
says, I should go out for a drive.
Be a
I missed
long
what you said. I
drive.
talked over you.
No, I was going to say I've never heard of Tottenham. I
I
being
have
from
heard
Ontario.
of it, but
I've
I don't think
never
I've
even
ever
heard
been
of it.
there. And Steven's back. He was gone for a bit, but he's back. Turbo Taro says, I wish to experience that luxury one day of silk underwear.
Seriously.
Oh yes, well, I will say that in the 90s, silk shirts were like the thing, and everyone had one, at least one. Just saying. Robert says, I only ask. I know we can't make them, but I saw lawmaker make one on a hill for no reason. Lawmaker, law enforcement. I don't know what we're talking about. With U-turns, I guess.
Well, if you're referring to police officers, unfortunately, in the course of their duties, they are allowed to do that. So,
where the user Why Are You says, this the dude that was a TikTok boy for cops. I was the Toronto Police Media Relations Officer for Traffic Services. That was the TikTok traffic cop on Traffic Services, and I left the police service, so I'm still voiceover cop, which was my user account when I was a cop too. So, no change except they don't pay me anymore. Not a firefighter says, I'm liking the branding and the merch. So yeah, I when I went to the Toronto International Auto Show, or the Canadian International Auto Show in Toronto, I worked the booth with the Toronto Police for a week, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable wearing Toronto Police gear now that I'm no longer a police officer, and I want to promote the show. So I talked to my friends at FM Promotions and said, could you make some magic? So I already designed the logo, and they adapted it for the jacket, and I made stickers. I have decals. If you want a decal, let me know. DM me your address. I'll send you some stickers because I've done that. I got to send you a care package still. Hat, stickers, stuff. Did I get you a coin? I haven't given you a coin either because I haven't sent you stuff. I got challenge coins. I'm thinking of selling challenge coins to raise money. That's a thing.
that'd be a good one. You
gotta
get in
do
the
a bunch of
challenge
those.
coin world, like people will buy them. Big collectors will eat those up.
Eat them. I mean, I gotta figure out a new design. I have one that's a standard voiceover cop Sean Shapiro, but I think I need to make one like a stuff and things coin.
I think you should just put that logo on one side, your face with the glasses, and then on the other side have something like traffic related. That'd be a pretty good one.
Oh, not a firefighter says, I'll trade some stuff from our department with you. I would love to trade some stuff. Yeah, send me a DM. And then Steven says, I've not been on TikTok for a while. Why, Steven? It feels like you've been here. Like, Steven from London, Ontario, Steven, or were you on Instagram when I was talking to you? Because I feel like I've just talked to you, unless you're not the same Steven. You could be a different Steven. But welcome back to TikTok. And TikTok, he says, but with ALK. What do we got here? Oh, Why Are You says, why did you get kicked from cops? I mean, seen something online about you. I didn't get kicked from the cops. I left the police service early to take care of family. And what has he got his icon? But I have a great relationship with the police. They did an art. Who was it? I announced that I was leaving, and there was a really nice write-up in one of the Toronto magazines about, beloved Toronto police officer retiring. Really, really sweet. It was a very emotional departure. I had a hard time with it, and I have often woken up going, "What did I do?" But because it's so hard. It's such a big part of your life. As you know, Logan is also an
It
officer.
consumes a lot of you, right?
It is. It's not just a job. It's an everything. It's who you are. So I'm still the voiceover cop because I'll never stop being a cop in my heart. And why are you says so they still pay you? No, I left. They don't pay me anything. And I left. It's more complicated than you think. Actually, I thought about going back, and they've asked me to come back part-time, which is interesting. But I don't know if I can do that because it's a long drive, and the reason I left was for family, and I'm busy taking care of family, so I can't.
And they wouldn't let you do it from home
So
in this setting in a uniform?
it's actually something that could have been done had we explored that in depth, but it wasn't explored in depth. The concept was we have a studio for you. You need to come to work, and then other people afterwards said, "Well, why couldn't we have let them do it from home?" And so that conversation happened after I left. The timing was off. But if I could have done it from home, I might have still been doing it from home for them.
Help offset.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think I got to go. I think we got to call it for tonight. We'll do it again Thursday.
Yeah.
I'll be back just because I have to be back tomorrow morning. I have to wake up at 6 a.m. This short changeover thing is a thing. So I'm going to go and figure out how much money I actually spent at the auction. And
Yeah.
see, it is the right Stephen, London, Ontario. And he just got done having a shower and was on YouTube before my show. Okay, but so at least I saw you earlier. Or not when you were in the shower. That would be creepy. What else we got here? Oh, hang on. Oh, Rizzy wants to know if walking around city sewers is illegal. It's also disgusting, but yes, it's trespassing. There was something he said earlier. He says, "You know what would really blow your mind tonight? From a dinosaur's perspective, we already live in a post-apocalyptic world. That's it. I'm quit weed tonight." Yeah, I see that perspective. We've got Shane and Chase says on TikTok, there's still one that will make you laugh. Shane and Mitchell. Okay, I'll check them out. Bernhard had a dad joke. Wait, I gotta read the first half. I gotta try and be in the habit of releasing the punchline at the same time. Dad joke after dark. Why do mushrooms get invited to all the parties? Because they're fun guys.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it makes sense. Dad joke from Rizzy. Which sofa store has a swear word in their name? Sofa King.
Yeah. Thank God he put now say it slowly because I was totally out on that one.
Yes. Well,
Now I get it.
dad jokes when not read with the intention required.
Yeah.
Don't hit. They don't hit. And sometimes you just have to think different, just like Steve Jobs said. So, all right. We talked about silk shirts. We talked some dad jokes. We went to silk underwear. We talked car stuff like we haven't in ages. Brian Max has a new he has a new YouTube channel to deep dive and rabbit hole. And what does Rizzy say? Logan looks like the kind of cop that gets yelled at by the chief all the time and always have to hand in his badge. Goes in guns a-blazing, but by God does Logan get the job done.
It's kind of like, Lethal Weapon, Captain, my captain. Can't fire you, but
Briggs and Murtaugh. Riggs and Murtaugh.
Riggs and Murtaugh.
Murtaugh was one of my favorite characters. And you know the
100%.
scary thing?
I
Do you know
love
how
those
old he was
movies.
in that how old he was when he filmed that and said, "I'm too old for this shit"?
He was probably, 38?
I think he was 38. 38 or 40,
Yeah.
which is just
Yeah.
Ugh.
Probably, no, I don't want to get too off. I know we got to end this, but probably one of my favorite cop buddy duos was Riggs and Murtaugh.
And yes,
So
and that was
good.
sort of before the what's his name, Riggs, went bananas and turned in real life and started having some weird stuff happen.
Oh, Mel Gibson.
Yeah. You're off the case, McClaskey. That's not a firefighter. Okay, why? What show's that from? Oh, by the way, do you watch The Rookie?
I was into it heavily,
Mm-hmm.
but I've missed out probably in the last 2 or 3 seasons. But
Oh,
the Cop Cutie song has been in my head for a very long time. You know what I'm
Brooklyn
talking about.
Nine-Nine, best TV show ever, according to Daniel, and I couldn't agree more.
I had a hard time getting into it.
Come on,
I
every
know.
police officer.
I like Terry Crews. I think
Really
it's
good.
the main character. What's his name?
Sanders Solomon.
Yeah.
Sanderson.
I think I just have a hard time with him. I think if anything.
Yeah,
but
he's,
that's
he's
just
the goofiest
yeah.
of the goofies.
Yeah,
But the other
yeah.
ones, the supporting cast is so phenomenal. Apparently,
Yeah.
it's the only show that the NYPD actually consulted on, like actually,
Really?
like involved in the
That's
production.
awesome. I'm a
And
sucker for Blue Bloods.
Oh yeah, big fan.
I'm a sucker for Blue Bloods.
Is that done? Was that the final? Like it's like done.
It's done now. Yeah,
That's
there's
so
a really
long.
good one on. I think it's on Prime, and it's called On Duty. I binged it, and it's actually pretty good.
That's with the female training officer.
Yeah, I thought it was
I
pretty
liked it.
gritty. It kind of reminded me of End of Watch, which is the only
Yeah.
movie I've ever cried in a movie theater. I'm not just going to say
Um,
that. Judge
I
me,
appreciate your
will you?
openness. HQ41 wants to ask a random traffic question. Go for it. And while you type that out, we'll continue just chatting about movies. And that and Nicholas Rizzi says 40. He was 40 when he said that for
We're
Murdoch.
pretty close. We're pretty close. Yeah.
And Daniel says you should watch 19.2 on Netflix. I watched it when it was new.
I watched it when it was on Bravo back in the day when it was new.
when it was brand new.
And I actually just had my wife watch it on Netflix with me, and she loved it. And she's not one for big cop stuff. And I love 19.2. I think it was a very gritty,
it
in
should've
your
kept going.
face. Yeah.
It should have kept going.
And then he went on to do Letterkenny. So
Right. You know, their roles were almost the same.
right, pretty close.
Yeah,
But
very,
it
very
was
similar.
it was a very good show.
I agree.
I still say the episode with the school shooting still gives me goosebumps to watch it, because the way they filmed it, specifically that episode, was just it was intense.
Not a firefighter says, I have to say that the first 15 minutes of The Other Guy is still my favorite cop scene of all time.
when they jump off the rooftop, The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, the other guys, the desk pop.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. But at the beginning, they're these two cops.
He
and they're
says
the
here,
best cops
especially
in
when
New
The
York.
Rock tries to leap off a tall building.
And they're like,
pancakes
do you think
himself.
we'll make it? And he's like, yeah, we'll make it. They're like 20 stories up, and they just jump off the building.
Apparently, I have to watch
it's
this
so
thing 'cause
good.
I can't
It's so
visualize it.
It's got Mark Wahlberg, and now his name's he played Buddy the Elf. Will Ferrell.
God, yeah. That's pop. When you say, okay, yeah.
Yeah. If I want to see your mouth move, I'll shove my hand up you and make you. Oh, there's just so many good lines.
Yes, and okay. I love The Rock. He's awesome.
Yeah, Gator's got to get his gat.
Will Ferrell, thank you very much. Not a firefighter.
Yeah.
We got to come up with a nickname that I can use. Like, just call you Fire. No Fire.
People call me Gingy,
Anti-
Ginger. One guy
You,
got
him.
mad at me.
He's not a firefighter. It's a mouthful every
God,
time I refer to him.
Sorry, it's all about me, Sean. You know.
Sam says, "Hey officers, when I get a ticket, if one of my rear license plate lights doesn't work, you can get a ticket for that.
$81 ticket in Alberta.
And you have to properly illuminate your license plate. So this is the HQ41 question we were stalling for. How steep is the fine for making a left not in the first position, jumping the line from the second car? Huh? So there's a car already in the intersection waiting to make a left turn. You get impatient, so you decide to hit the gas and make the turn. From behind them, they're still left in the intersection waiting to figure out what day it is. What would you lay the charge for? Improper turn? Unsafe?
I would say unsafe left turn.
Unsafe left turn. I mean,
See, the thing is, there's always a couple ones that you could go
Fit.
to.
you can make it fit.
There's improper lane change.
Turn not
there-
in safety.
Yeah. So, and depending on the circumstances, you could go up as much as careless, driving without undue care and
Yes.
attention. So
Well,
there's a few different options
yes.
for our definition in Alberta anyway.
Let's see here. Oh, they just did an update. So turn. Improper turn? What is improper turn? Where the driver or operator of a vehicle intends to turn right. Well, what about? Oh, intends to turn to the right into an intersecting highway. Oh, right turn, because I'm reading right turn. Okay, improper left turn, where the driver or operator of a vehicle intends to turn to the left into an intersecting highway. He or she shall, where the highway on which he or she is driving has marked lanes for traffic, approach the intersection within the left-hand lane provided for the use of traffic moving in the direction which his or her vehicle is. It's very wordy. But that doesn't say anything about cutting in front of another person. The fact is that that's a calamity waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Right. So turn not in safety. The driver or operator of a vehicle upon a highway before turning to the left or right at any intersection or into a private road or driveway from the lane of traffic to another, or leave the roadway, shall first see that the movement can be made in safety, and if the operation of any other vehicle may be affected by the movement, shall give a signal plainly visible to the driver or operator of the other vehicle of the intention to make a move. Well, you could argue that would fit $110 to demerit points, because the person that you were behind could have started moving at the same time and collided with you, and you could not have signaled your way out of that. Very interesting. I have to give it some more
question,
thought.
though. It's nice that there's
It's a
questions
fantastic
that you
question.
got to think about for a second.
He's true. Talked about that.
What do you say, Sean?
Sam's going to get his light repaired. Are we talking about? Are we cutting it? Is that what you're going to say?
Well, yeah, maybe.
There's
You can keep going.
A couple of really
gotta
good
go.
ones. No, I got to go too. But there's a couple of good ones that popped in. I just when there's no questions for an hour, and then there was questions.
Well, if they're good ones, we can hammer them out.
Yeah, that's what I'm scanning to find out. Fleet from police officer. What is the charge, and how does police find them? I've seen video. Fleeing? You mean flight from police officer?
Yeah. Fail to stop.
I mean, generally speaking, if there's any way to identify them, we just go to their house and pick them up when they get there, or we follow them, or we call another off. Like, it depends.
Yeah.
Generally, it's for identification, like license plates, markings.
License plate does wonders.
That really does close the loop. And he, not a firefighter, quite eloquently says, "Wouldn't recommend that. Can't outrun the Motorola."
Yeah.
And that is the truth. You can't outrun the radio, fastest thing on the road. Yeah, I've seen people with those plates that turn off running, says no plates, no case. I think that a Barrett 50 caliber would take care of that.
Engine block, no problem.
I think we need to have much more aggressive responses for people who fly from police. I would say laser cannons from space. Elon Musk has got a sale on them this week.
Yeah.
Something needs to be done, because people are so entitled to think they can get away. I remember a cartoon that I watched. Not a cartoon I watched. It was a cartoon I read. It was called Cartoons. It was all about automobile stuff. I've got some old copies of it. I'll have to take some pictures and send it to you, because I think you'll get a real kick. And they suggested having skewers, like big giant skewers that would eject from the sidewalk to stop people from rolling stops. And I think they work well on motorcycles too. HQ41, who had the really good question, says, watched it happen the other day and prayed the guy didn't get clocked by oncoming. That's for the guy who scooted out and made the left turn in front. Yeah, it's very dangerous. There's a reason the first person is not making the choice. I mean, it's also possible that they're really, really scared and not very good drivers, but you let them make their own thing and don't get impatient. Okay. I think we're good. The myth, even without plates, flock will find you. Yeah. Oh, wait.
The eye in the sky always
nothing
helps.
ever happened or caught. Yeah. ERresponder.on.ca says, "Hey, buddy, it's former YYZ." Oh, really? Former YYZ? What happened? You changed your username? Pourquoi? I need to know. Send me a text. Sam says, "I noticed cops coming after me, but haven't got lit yet." What's
good
GTA
things come
doing
to
about
an
the
end.
electric scooter? Looks mini vehicle driving on the road. So this is. Are you seeing these fully enclosed? We talked about this before. Fully
Yeah.
enclosed. They don't.
You guys
have
are
plates
so
or
much
insurance.
farther than we are with that. I'm jealous.
They're not. They are motor vehicles. They're not mobility scooters. They're not. You can't drive it around Loblaws and go shopping. Like, it's not a mobility scooter. It's just not. There's no way to put that into the mobility scooter category. I would write tickets for it all day long, even though they're 75-year-olds driving them. Do you guys have flocks in Canada?
What's a flock? Other than
I'm not familiar with. You have to DM me with what the terminology of flocks. I don't know if I give a flock, but what kind of flock are we talking about? Oh, HQ41 says, I was in first position. I wasn't scared at all, just not impatient. No, that's good. So you were doing the right thing and they were doing dumb stuff when they cut behind you. I assumed you were behind them to see what they were doing. But good for you. It is possible, though, that there are new drivers who don't know. And the other option, the other thing is it wasn't safe. And you, in the first position, are the only person who can make that decision. So good for you. All right. We could keep this going up for days if we don't stop, because I know how this game plays. But okay, closing out with this. No judgment here. I cried when I saw the Pinky and the Brain Christmas special. What are we going to
End
do
of
today?
Watch was an emotional movie. Yeah.
And by the way, the answer is Flock is a private company that has plate readers and cameras all over. They help the police find cars using AI. I think that those would be amazing, and they should be everywhere. Everywhere. Yep. Appreciate it, guys. Have a terrific night. That's from HQ41. Thank you all for hanging out with us. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm going to go post the show right now, and we'll do this again because that's what I do. We'll talk to you soon. Take care and have a great night. Drive safe, drive sober, park legally.